I'm pretty sure hailing frequencies are open.
Again.
I'm relatively confident that hailing frequencies are now open. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with us as we fought through some subspace interference. It's good to see everybody. Hello. Welcome back to the Last Excelsior, our Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition campaign with the StreamPunks. We have a full cast tonight. I am not going to tempt the techno gods and say that that we have a fully functioning whatever, but I'm going to say that we are happy to be here. So, because of the late start and the tech issues, and we are now underway, by the way, thank you, Jake. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into the announcements, and then we can jump right back into what will probably be the final part of our very first episode. We'll see how things roll out. Before we kick off, does anybody have any announcements they want to get out of the way real fast before we jump into our episode tonight? Yes, Caitlin.
Speeding announcements. Noir and I are going to be at Gen Con, and on Thursday, what time did we say? We're going to be at the Modifius booth hanging out.
We are going to be doing our meet and greet at 2 to 4 p.m.
Indianapolis time, so you guys can come hang out with us and check out all of their goodies. There's going to be some cool people there. I think I don't know if it's already up on social media, but there's some cool people you can take pictures with. They're going to have a photo booth and set and stuff, so we'll be there. You can chat with us, hang out with us. I'll be around. I might be back a couple times just because I like to peruse, but we'll be around. Keep an eye out for us. And my other extremely important update is that I got introduced to top loaders last week, and so I made one of the Predator.
Caitlin was busting at the seams to share that with you all. You have
that's
no idea.
That's my whole announcement.
All right. I'll just hop on in and make this as fast as possible. So we've got our end of the month coffee StreamPunks game tomorrow, which is delving back into the world of Noirville 312 with the story of Big B and Dash. Where we last left off, they had just met the mutant rebel gang called the Get Back. We'll see where they're going next. And just a little bit more of the Noirville news. I just had my first meeting with all the villain players, and they have agreed on the villain group name, the Godkin. So that is the PvP villain group that our heroes will be facing. That's it.
Noise.
Yeah. Awesome.
The only announcement that I have to chime in, just as a quick update, because I realize I just should update everybody, but next month, just so everybody is reminded, next month, the last Monday of the month, will be the very first episode of the very Marvel game that Noir is talking about, except it's a continuation of what we do on Tuesdays. Yes, Noir, or is it a different?
Oh no, this is an entirely different group. So
right on.
The Tuesday group is the story of Big B and Dash. The Noirville group is going to be the story of the Shift, Bleer, Banff, and perhaps some new heroes. We'll see.
Okay, sweet. Thank you. Also, stay tuned, because this coming month, August, is going to be the month where we are finally announcing the plans for our one-shots and unlocks that we have for the StreamPunks. We are currently in the process of setting up the structure of when we can get those done. And my goal is that by the end of August, we have a schedule of when we are going to start rolling those, to tape those out and get those set out for you. So we'll keep you guys posted about it. We have an Oops All Predators game that I know Caitlin is really not looking forward to. We have a bunch of other unlocks that I'm excited about. So we'll stay tuned for that. That was my only other announcement. Does anybody else have anything to say before we jump back into the episode tonight? Yes, Bonnie.
Hey, guess what? I'm going to be at Star Trek Las Vegas as of tomorrow, even though it starts on Thursday. I'm doing a magic show the Wednesday night. So if you get there early, I'm doing a magic show with a magician. It's going to be amazing. All Star Trek themed. We'll fix it in post. And I'll be at a table all of the days. Look at my social media. I have full panels and performances throughout the whole 4 or 5 days. So please come and find me. Give me hugs. And then also Star Trek Prodigy Season 2 is out on Netflix, but it's also now available for purchase on Apple TV or something with a bunch of bonus stuff. And you can pre-order it on DVD for November, and it has a bunch of extra stuff. And the more people watch it, the more people binge it, the more people buy it, the more Netflix might go, Season 3.
It's doing quite well on Apple, from what I hear.
It's only been out for a few hours, or for half a day, and it's already in the top 10 of including live action and animation.
Amazing.
It's insane, of television. So I think people just went nuts about it, and I'm so grateful for all of you showing it so much support. Yeah.
Cool.
Fun fact, they quantified the relative contribution of each cast member, and it is 73.8% attributable to Bonnie.
I wish math was true in that case.
I wish math was true. I wish I lived in that world.
I wish math. I wish I could do the math.
What would that world be like? Okay, thank you, Bonnie. Anybody else have any other announcements? Yes, Eliza.
Yeah. So go visit elizapearl.itch.io to play through my interactive visual novel that's about my neurodivergent story. It features main character art by Caitlin Bruder. And I think that little picture you drew of me is so adorable. So I decided to make the main character. And then, so yeah, go check that out, elizapearl.itch.io. Also, I have some news about some WebFest selections we have gotten for Clear Skies Perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
We have gotten into Toronto WebFest and New Jersey WebFest. And someone got Best Character Play Performance nominated.
No kidding.
And it's Sam DeLev.
Hey, that's what's up.
Awesome. Everyone screen cap the discomfort.
That's my
Totally
wife's life. Let's go.
Totally deserved.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm so proud of our whole Clear Skies Perseverance cast. Like, we'll talk about bringing it back someday, but in the meantime, we're still on this WebFest journey. So more updates to come.
Yay. All right. There's really only traditionally one person left that does an announcement, and thank goodness they're not speechless right now. Yes, Sam, what do you have? And that's going to be what day? What day of the week? What time? Okay, great. Yeah. Are you excited, Sam? So, must contain science is the and I've only just started learning to speak Sam's language here.
Wow.
Well, with that, I guess we should jump into tonight's episode of The Last Excelsior.
Energy.
All right, welcome back. Caitlin is still in engineer mode, as you can tell. So we're going to jump right back into where we left off. And as a quick recap, there was a near warp core breach. There was the salvation of everybody on board the freighter. And then there was the discovery that there were escape pods that had been launched. 2 of them have been discovered, and a third one has been located but has not been discovered just yet. The general area of where it is. Now, as a quick recap to everybody here in the game session, the system you are all in is the Tonyoto system. This is very close to the Romulan neutral zone. which is, just as another quick recap for the lore of where we are in the timeline right now, the Romulan neutral zone is not the dangerous place that it used to be. This is post-Dominion War, so the relationship between the Federation and Romulans is, up until these past years, has been in a state of flux, kind of leaning towards a more positive side because of their cooperation during the Dominion War. Then there was that unfortunate incident with the Praetor and Shinzon and that whole destruction of the Romulan Senate. And things have gone even further into a period of uncertainty thanks to the Hobus star being detected that it is on the verge of explosion. So the supernova has kind of changed the political landscape of the entire quadrant, as the Federation and the Romulan Star Empire are, for the very first time, cooperating together to try to relocate vast swaths of civilization. The undertaking is the largest undertaking that any government has done in the history of the galaxy. That means that the Romulan neutral zone right now is a little more negotiable than it used to be. Romulans still very much known for their secrecy and being extremely distrusting. However, that is starting to become less and less as more and more help is being accepted. So it's not quite as dangerous as it used to be. 5 years ago, being this close to the Romulan neutral zone, the USS Pride would have to be on the lookout. You don't know when a Deredex is going to charge across the neutral zone to demand why you are so close to their borders. In this case, though, the only thing you've run into are mines. Romulan mines that you have all found. Quick recap on that. These mines are aged. You know that they are much, much, much older, and that they've probably been here for at the very least half a century. So you're not sure what they are a relic from, but they are old pieces of tech that have just been lingering here in this asteroid field that is laden with magnesite, a mineral that is known to interfere with both transporters and sensors. So that's the bird's eye view of everything. Next up is the fact that the Tonyoto system, on top of having a colony that apparently has been abandoned, there is also a Class M planet that was documented on long-range scans. This Class M planet does harbor a pre-warp civilization that Starfleet had characterized as Bronze Age technologies. But after eyeballing it in a flyby, Commander Cadence has discovered that it's actually closer to medieval technologies. No ID on any of the species just yet, but when we last left off, Cadence was doing a lower atmosphere flyby to get eyes on the both crashed escape pods and try to locate the third escape pod. The two crashed escape pods you were able to find, it looks like everyone is okay. They're just uncomfortably close to where the battle is happening. On the other side of this ridge, though, in this rocky terrain near a canyon, Cadence, you have managed to locate the general area of where that third escape pod has gone down. You haven't been able to catch eyes on it because the sensor interference, particularly over here, has made it so that the life form readings are just appearing as a large blob on sensors. It's not necessarily because it's overcrowded with creatures trying to kill one another, but it definitely suggests that there's enough down there that the sensors can't detect or determine where one begins and the other one ends. So it's very deceptive. The last thing to include on this is Cadence detected that this was actually, to make things even more complicated, where these escape pods landed appears to be close to what would seem to be a power struggle between three armies. The details of this, very vague. All you see is a map of three distinct different types of armies clashing from far up above, and sensors can't tell you anything. You can just see these creatures attacking one another with technologies very similar to like trebuchet that was used back in the day on ancient Earth. Arrows and projectile weapons all being used. Difficult to say, don't want to jump to conclusions, but clearly a bloodbath taking place. Now, these two escape pods are not that far from this clash, but the third escape pod is where the real danger is, because it looks like some of the battle has spilled out from the main fighting, and they are close by. You were able to get quick reminder too, you were also able to get eyeballs on 2 of the escape pods. They also saw you, and you guys have made contact, and it seems like everyone is okay, but they're extremely nervous. They gave you a brief rundown that each escape pod was basically a lifeboat more than an escape pod, capable of holding up to 20 people. They do not know any other information about the 3rd escape pod except for that it went down farther north. And back on the USS Pride, you do have the captain of the ship, Captain Westhought, who is with some of the people that you've been able to rescue from the freighter, who are now being, at this point, I would say, are now being triaged in the main cargo bay on the USS Pride, with the CMO and all the other medical officers on staff to help them. Thankfully, as we begin, reports are coming up to the bridge, Captain, that remarkably, very few injuries from the survivors. It would appear that the mine struck closer back to the engine room. The damage was catastrophic to the power systems of the ship. The concussive force certainly caused injuries, but you're very relieved to find out that no souls have been lost and no one has been critically injured. Captain Westhought has also been a little much. Commander Hata Ben has been the point of contact for the Bolian captain, who has been a bundle of nerves running around and trying to find out if everybody on the ship was okay. Hata, here's what you have learned, because the captain basically turned him over to you and said, I got to deal with this right now. Talk to my first officer. What you've learned from this Bolian captain, his name is Captain Westhought. He's a civilian. And the freighter in question, the Calican, is his own personal freighter. He bought and paid for it. It's quite old, but it still gets around and it's still reliable. Only capable of achieving a maximum warp of about 4 when it's pushed. He lets you know that he was hired by this colony to start moving people off planet because news had finally reached them that there was going to be a supernova. And what that apparently revealed to the members of this colony were that no one really wanted to stay on the colony anymore anyway. And without any other need for a lot of information, the colonists had all just decided that it was time to call this one, that the colony was not going well, that resources were going very poorly, and that with all of the traffic taking place right now this close to the neutral zone pretty much being designated towards the Romulan people right now, a colony this close that isn't Romulan is actually kind of falling lower on the priority list for merchant trade and for transport. So they've all just decided to pack it up. The colony was about 40 years old, so at least an entire generation grew up there. No one seems to be particularly upset about having to leave, however. So Captain Westhought set up this arrangement. He kind of overshares, letting you know that he gave them a very good deal, that he's not looking to try to make a buck. He's not, his exact words is, I'm not trying to make a killing out here. I'm just trying to make a living. You know, I know that they're colonists and they got to move, and kind of carrying on and rambling a little bit. You also learn that they didn't actually have a single destination, that most of the colonists have different things that they want to go do and try. So some of them actually wanted to be dropped off at a starbase. Some of them have a colony destination. Some of them have another moon they want to go to. It seems like he's basically playing taxi to a bunch of people. And to which he also just lays out a very exhaustive flight plan that he had set up, bragging about how it took him 2 months to plot out exactly, okay, so, and then I knew that I would go to this starbase next, and then of course we'd stop here, which would save me 5-6 weeks of travel to this and going through of how he was going to very efficiently drop everybody off and try to do it on the way to everybody else's destination. That is all. Thankfully, you get a moment of reprieve when he finds out that when he finds out that the colonists are safe. There have been casualties, though. Apparently he had 3 crew members that were working, and they were all the engineers, which are intrepid engineer Ivrali. You managed to basically see them yourselves?
No.
Oh, no, this is Baya. No, this was
Baya now. Yeah.
Okay. So Baya, you were the one that actually discovered a lot of the crew that was in the engine room. you discover through his sort of debrief and telling you what happened, his crew died trying to stabilize the warp core. And when he realized power was failing, he ordered everybody to the front of the ship as sort of a last minute attempt to keep everyone alive. He was in the process of trying to reroute remaining power to the front of the ship and seal off the rest of it so he could buy as much time with life support as possible. And about the time you guys arrived is when he found out that the warp core was going to blow. But by then he had already sealed himself away along with the rest of the people. So they were all sitting on a bomb. You guys basically showed up and saved everyone's lives. But now he is a bundle of nerves because he has heard that the escape pods have been located, crashed on a world that he did not know was there, and he wants to know how everyone is alive. He is currently being kept in the main cargo bay in order to give command staff some time to do what command staff does. So we're going to pick this up on the bridge with the report coming back from Cadence. Now, it's also important to note that as Cadence has informed you all of the situation on this moon that is orbiting this great gas giant, Toyota 4B, this Class M world, it is on the other side of this asteroid belt, and the transmissions coming through from Cadence are slightly analog sounding, almost like radio, because there's just enough interference to make it sound like they're coming through a ham radio or something. But you are able to get all the information that Cadence is able to relay. Sensor information does come in, but it's not clear. But you are able to see at least a topographic scan of what Cadence was able to get flying the Peregrine over the planet. And we are going to start there. You are currently on the other side of the asteroid field. The freighter, the Calican, is salvageable thanks to the fast work of Baya. However, it is currently completely out of commission. It is going to have to be tractored out of the asteroid field. What would you like to do? You have the con, Captain.
First things first, I want to update station, I believe it's 16, the one that we're going to, and the station that we came from of our current status to let them know why we haven't arrived in the time that they would expect us to.
Okay, that's going to be Ops, which is your first officer.
Captain, right. I can take care of that right now.
In which case, you're going to make a roll. I'm going to set the difficulty of this only at 1. Typically a difficulty 0 check, but we're going to set this at difficulty 1 because of the proximity of this damn asteroid field and all the magicite. I'm gone back into Final Fantasy 3. All the magnesite inside of the asteroids are interfering a little bit with some of the communications. So with that in mind, go ahead and make me a comms check here. So this is going to be with the ship providing assistance here. This is going to be a control, if I remember correctly, it's been a hot, yeah, if I remember correctly, it's been a hot minute since we've actually done a comm check.
Yeah.
We definitely haven't done it this go round.
Yeah. I was like, man, I cannot remember. So communications,
Okay.
Does it matter? Yep.
Can someone roll for the ship, please?
I will only fail and disappoint all of you. So who would like to get that?
All right.
Whoever would like to roll for the ship.
All right.
The USS Pride.
I got one success.
And we're for Pride, we're feeling what? Comms con, wasn't it?
That's correct. Yeah, I think comms engineering would probably be appropriate. Yeah.
Go for Pride.
Go for Pride. So total, how many successes? 2 successes. If I remember correctly, I had you all maxed out at 6, but we did do a scene change. So that's going to bring you back up to 6 with a bonus momentum to spare.
Okay.
So you do have a bonus momentum you can spend as you see fit. But you send the message along through subspace, informing Starbase 16 that you are delayed because you were in the middle of a rescue action.
And also the Starbase we came from. Sounds like.
Okay, cool. Starbase 84?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You informed Starbase 84 that you were also... Okay, Starfleet has been thoroughly informed as to your to your situation, you receive an immediate reply on comms ops officer, letting you know that if the USS Pride requires any additional assistance, that ships can be dispatched to your area and be to you within the next 4 hours.
Captain, do we want additional ships here for backup? Perhaps for the freighter crew?
For the freighter crew, as well as making sure that we're able to retrieve that last escape pod. We're terribly understaffed for a mission like this, and I think if they're able to send someone quickly, it'd be best for them to handle this and for us to get our full staff and crew.
In that case, Captain, I will reply, and they say they can send us help in about 4 hours.
4 hours? Goodness. All right. Well, Cadence, and I'm just going to chime in on Cadence.
Yep, this is Griffin too. What do you have, Big Bird? Say something, you're not coming through.
I'm sorry. What? Do you have eyes on the last escape pod, and how terribly close are they? How terribly close are the civilians on that planet to finding it? Do we have 4 hours to, in accordance to your best judgment?
I've gotten a topographical scan. Frankly, these looks like maybe 3 different military groups are making their own moves. Pride Tactical, can I send you these scans? You might be able to figure out where this fight might go better than I would.
That's you, Bunny.
Yes. I was looking up Big Bird puns.
When you can't be Sam DeLev, but you've got Google.
They have to happen extemporaneously. You just have to wing it.
Well, I was gonna say,
I'm awarding myself threat.
No, this is not me as an eggplant. Repeat. Can you repeat that? Communications. There was interference. Big Bird needs you to repeat, please.
So apparently it's taken. The nickname is taken. Please, Cadence. I'm sorry to interrupt. Please go.
Passing along scans of the topography and my best guess positions from these blob of life forms. You might be able to figure out it's some kind of valley canyon. So you could figure out the tactical significance, flow of the battle, something like that. Whatever I've got, it's not the highest quality, frankly, but it's yours.
I appreciate that. Looking at this, Eric, so far right now, they're far away enough from civilians to not be noticed.
You're starting to see the exact same issues that Cadence is coming up against, which is as the sensor information comes back to you, Cadence is pretty much guesstimating and is looking to you to try to get a sense of the tactical situation.
Okay, I would like to roll for it.
Yeah, to help just sort of since you're the tactical officer, maybe you have a better sense of how to guesstimate here. So in which case, how would you like to roll for it? What would you like to use?
Like control security, possibly.
So control security would certainly give you an idea of...
For insight security?
Insight security probably give you a better sense of where you think the most tactical advantageous place to maybe ambush people are, but there's a lot of variables to keep in mind here that I'm going to throw into this. I'm going to increase the difficulty of this by 1 by spending some threat, because normally I would say the difficulty of this is going to be 2, but because of the fact that it is an unknown species, and you actually do not know what the crash pod's tactical situation is. Never mind the fact that the sensor information is kind of blurred here. I'm going to set the difficulty of this at 3.
Of course you are.
So go ahead and give me a command insight check.
Goodbye, die. We got that full momentum going.
Yes,
definitely.
Well, no, you don't have that bonus die anymore. That's gone. Eliza didn't spend it. So, but you do have 6 momentum. So you've got plenty to play with here.
Yeah.
I am going to take a die, an extra die, of course.
Okay.
Also, would I be able to use the computers to maybe come up with like an algorithm of like
Ship assistance, basically.
Yeah, ship assistant, like having the ship assist me and like, you know, with the layout of the land and the seeing where the locals are compared to where these are.
I tell you what, if whoever wants to roll for the Pride, if the Pride wants to roll a computer's command check, I will allow you to use the Pride in that the Pride will be able to call up the long-range probe information that it had when this system was first scanned to try to get a sense of the topography of the entire hemisphere.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I meant, obviously.
So,
I'm gonna roll.
Also, as a quick reminder,
yes,
I will answer whatever questions you've asked directly, and if you want to know anything further, it's an obtain information spend.
I can roll for this ship.
Okay, difficulty is 3.
Okay, here I go.
Really quick question, if I may.
11 and under.
Is it possible for me to assist?
I think as a command officer, it is. I think typically it is. I think as a command officer, you can actually assist. But you would need to tell me how you're assisting exactly. And just going to set the stage here. If your approach is, I'm going to assist by telling them something encouraging, I'll let that play. But it just needs to be, as usual, as you have done so far since we started this game, it just needs to be role played and how it comes through. Yeah.
Rather than being encouraging, this time I think this is mainly because I got to sit in the captain's chair at Comic-Con. Like the information that comes through, he's going to be able to take a look at on the chair. So I think he's going to do what he can to try and clean it up before passing it to tactical.
Okay. So you basically second opinion it.
Yeah.
Eliza, did you succeed?
I did.
Okay. We have 4 successes and a complication because I got a crit and a 19.
See, and that's exactly why I wanted to
and a success, a crit, success, and a complication, and the ship.
Did we have an expanded complication range?
Only if you bought it with an aux point, I believe. That we didn't. We did momentum, right?
So 19 is not a complication.
19 is not a complication.
Then I lied.
You're golden. You're a superstar.
Then 4 successes.
Did Noir roll a complication? Is what I want to know.
No, I was saying because I assisted, you get to re-roll a die because of my talent advisor.
Nice.
I mean, I can re-roll my 19. We don't technically need it, but we can
you
get.
Sure can.
Why not? Let's do that.
Juice
roll.
the score. Get lots of info.
And an 18. So congratulations. We're one less closer to a complication.
It is a sad thing to have to not celebrate 18s and 19s. We're just so ready to cheer those numbers on, but no. Go ahead.
Technically 4 successes.
Okay,
a success, and then the ship succeeded. Wait, yeah. So 4 with a non-complication, and I must say, birds of a feather flock together. So we must be the mother flocker and the mothership. That was not one that I looked up. That's just one that I always say when people wear feather boas. But in regards to our ship, I'm very pleased that it succeeded, and I'm ready to get any information you have for me.
I believe you.
I'm out of it. What's happening? Tell me what I did.
All right. So that's going to bank you 1 bonus momentum. Of which you can bank that if you want. So what you were going to get from this as the feed starts coming through, pulling up on the Federation database, a lot of the information that came through from the probe, you're getting a much clearer read of the canyon that currently Griffin 1 is trying to scan. As it's coming back through, and you see the canyon begin to come up in a much higher resolution bird's eye view. You're also getting a three-dimensional glimpse of how deep the canyon is and the surrounding landscape. The one thing that's very important here that you note is that Starfleet again registers the possible presence of magnesite based off of long-range sensor scans. You can now confirm that. Okay. Tactically, if these people are in danger, they're vulnerable on just about every side of where their escape pod likely crashed. They're currently It is estimated that they are currently in the lower parts of the canyon, which means they are completely surrounded by high ground. Depending on what their cover is, it's entirely possible that they could be seen from just about anywhere that they are if anybody is on approach.
Okay.
So they are quite vulnerable to where they are. There's everything else is a variable. That is the answer to your successful roll.
Okay. I mean,
We have
my
tons
Go
of
ahead.
bonus information if we have more questions.
yeah. Looking at where they crashed, how feasible would it be? Not just, I know we can't beam them out because of the interference, right? So, how feasible would it be to land a shuttle there, get them out, and try and we need to try and, I guess, get rid of the evidence of their pod, blow it up per se, or
yeah, I'll go ahead and tell you this without any further rolls. Part of the big challenges you guys are going to have to face is getting those escape pods out of there.
yeah.
Because even blowing them up, to atomize those lifeboats would probably require an antimatter reaction of some kind, and there ain't no way you're hiding that. But you could get creative. If y'all come up with something.
Is there I'm gonna contact engineering and be like, is there a way to get pattern buffers down to be able to beam the ship, not only the people, but beam the escape pods back to our ship? If we had some kind of pattern buffers, would it be enough to up the signal to beam them back?
There is a general pause as you sit that down to engineering, and you hear, after a few moments, you hear the engineer's voice come back to you. You want to beam an entire life pod back onto the Pride?
We got to beam it somewhere. Whether it be on the Pride, whether it be on some random asteroid, we got to beam it somewhere off of this planet before we break the Prime Directive.
Yeah, look, I'm sure you are an expert in all things tactical, Lieutenant. But the truth of the matter is transport can't perform miracles, and
yes.
I can't beam ships onto ships. Sorry,
I'm not talking about. What about pieces of it?
Pieces of it.
If it was in pieces.
There's a long pause, and you hear, we might be able to beam pieces of it. Yes.
Echoing in the background. We can do pieces. I do transporters and replicators. We did small pieces.
Stand by, Lieutenant. Give me 1 second.
Like echoing in the background.
Stand by.
If we can break it apart, we can beam it up like a jigsaw puzzle.
Engineer turns and looks at you, Bea, and says, all right, what if we sent a salvage team down there? And I mean a crack salvage team. Cut this thing up as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. We would need to buy some time, though. We would need to find a way to lure any potential Prime Directive breakage off of our away teams. If we could somehow figure a way to do that. But then, hold on a sec. Turns back, Lieutenant, sorry, I forgot. I didn't answer your other question. Yes, we could use pattern buffers to get the people out there. It would have it would overcome the problems we're having with the sensor interference and the magnesite. However, we cannot use the industrial transporters on organic life, so we'd still have to use our basic transporters. I could take 6 people at a time, but that's maybe 10 minutes. We can get everybody off the planet if we can get the transporter buffers down there. No matter what happens, we're sending an away team. Basically, we could send a salvage team down there and dismantle this shuttle. I don't know how fast we would have to be fast, and we would need some way of buying us time in case the locals decided to come see what all the ruckus was about. But if we could pull that off, we could use the transporters in the cargo bay to take the ship up piece by piece. I'm going to need a few more minutes here to give you an estimation of how long that it's going to take.
Good work. Send me as much information as you can when you're finished.
Copy that. And the chief engineer turns back to you, Baya, and says,
sorry, please, eavesdropping. It was I was right here, and it was I want to help.
Sure. Just give me 1 second. And you see the chief engineer again turns back to the computer and starts immediately punching away on the LCARs, bringing up a couple of systems information, looking for any of the industrial cutting tools that are used for mostly like refits and starships. It says, okay, yeah, we could do this. All right. 2 escape pods. You see him bring up the escape pod blueprints based off the ship and the scans that Griffin 1 sent back. You see nodding along. It says, all right. Okay. Yeah. So we would just need 2 days.
Okay. Well,
2 days.
I don't think the captain's gonna like that.
Nope. We're talking about cutting apart ships that are big enough to hold 20 people. They don't have anything but basic propulsion, so we don't have to worry about cutting into any kind of plasma conduits. It's an old shuttle. Oh! I have an idea. It's a temporary solution, but it's an idea.
Something.
We bury them.
I was gonna suggest a ghillie suit, but that makes more sense.
Yeah, let's bury them. Maybe if we can get down planet side. Yeah, let's get down planet side. 2 things to find out. How the hell do we bury them? And if there are caves, could we possibly break through the magnesite using the pattern buffers on an entire ship? I don't know. We need to get there.
It's on a cliffside, so caves doesn't seem out of the question.
It's out of the question because the whole planet's made out of a goddamn material that's going to make it impossible. But that's you're not wrong. There's a chance that we might actually find, or we might be trying to beam it into Magnesite Central. So I don't know.
That's fine. How do we? We need like a shower curtain.
A what?
Like a shower, like when you're showering, it's a privacy curtain. If doctors have, it's right in the middle of a bunch of people, and we need to do a pretty big job down there, and we need them to not see us or anything and come looking. So we need a shower curtain. I don't know what that looks like. If that's just pulling their attention somewhere else, or something that doesn't break the Prime Directive, or
what do we know about this culture? Hotspin just appears. I don't know where.
You can be listening.
Commander, the first officer who was on the bridge a few minutes ago, is now here in main engineering.
You've decided to I love that. Yeah, the door's open and you've been listening in. Yeah.
No, I love the idea that the commander has just been there listening to the idea.
I love it.
Didn't want to interrupt.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's like, they're brainstorming. I'm on my way.
Yeah, exactly. There's
logic.
Yeah, there's a start.
Love logic.
Hi, Commander.
Hello. Apologies for eavesdropping, but I do love logic puzzles, and this seems like a logic puzzle to me.
No wonder these two get along.
Pavin, the chief engineer, you see, he just kind of flinches and goes, oh, wow.
I'm sorry. I sneak up on people sometimes. And
we don't know anything, but we do have eyes in the sky who might be able to give us at least a general idea of what we're dealing with.
Perhaps a culturally appropriate distraction is in order.
You mean okay, I hate to say this, Commander, but I was actually thinking the same thing. I just thought that it was probably running up against the Prime Directive a little too much. But hey, if we want to detonate something in the atmosphere that makes it look like the gods are angry and everyone goes running away, I'm okay with that.
Oh, I wasn't considering detonations, but that could be an option.
I'm an engineer. It's all about blowing stuff up sometimes.
Understandable. And I'm operations, so I think about energy. An energy wall that has some kind of display on it that looks like nature to them, some type of natural phenomenon happening off in the distance, too unsafe for them to get close to, but like something they would watch,
like jury rigging, like a fake hollow screen.
Yes, that
Large
covers
scale.
the area of the crashed escape pod.
We would need some kind of baseline for exactly how a portable holographic computer, pull up all files and information you have on the what's the name? Yes, there's what was was their name?
They're XO. They're the XO program. That one?
The XEO program.
one,
Computer,
yeah.
could you please call up any information you have on the XEO program and any of the hollow emitter technology used on that program, please? You see it start flooding in, and Pavan starts reading over it and goes, we're going to need a few moments, Commander, we're going to need a few moments to look over this. If we are able to pull this off, it's not going to be anything. It's probably going to be, we'll do the best we can, and I'll report back to what we can do with this.
Okay, and maybe it can just be the horizon. Doesn't have to be some strange natural event happening.
Just
Right.
to hide it, just to give us a minute, because then maybe we don't have to take it apart. Maybe we fully can just tractor it out. If they can't see it, then we can be a little bit more rowdy with it. Maybe.
In the meantime, I think we're probably, Commander, in the meantime, to buy us some time, maybe we set up the dismantling program that we had, the plan that we had in place before. We were thinking about trying to create a new landscape. Like maybe we start dismantling the shuttles just in case. In which case, I would probably say we need a security team or somebody to just make sure that we're all kept safe while we're doing this and everybody's being beamed out.
I was going to highly suggest that, of course.
Oh, good. Yeah, that would be great. How does that sound, Captain, Commander? Does this line up?
Captain?
Hollow emitters, clever idea. I do have to say that is thinking outside the box, and I do like it. I would very much like to get Cadence in on this. Cadence, do you believe that there is a location that you could pinpoint where a hollow emitter would be most effective?
At what altitude, sir?
Engineers?
Definitely from the ground up, but
From the ground.
I'm not sure how high it would need to go. Names. Commander, no wait. Lieutenant Shrilal? Shrilal?
We're still learning each other's names.
Shirila.
Yeah.
Shirila. Lieutenant Shirila, can you estimate how high above the ground the escape pod reaches, approximately?
Wait.
So if you don't have this information,
Yeah.
like as you as a player who's like, this is where.
Sure, I know all about that technology.
In fact, this is exactly where STA Second Edition would invite you to just yes and the hell out of it and give us something. Now, this is actually going to cut into something that I was going to bring up. As you all know, we have been playing around with what we can do with aux points. So right now, one of the ideas that I had with aux points is that aux points would allow us to enhance the stats of the USS Pride, to allow the USS Pride a better chance of succeeding at a thing by giving the Pride a bonus based on how many aux points you sank into the department. I'm not going to nullify that. I think that's still totally feasible. However, I am also going to allow aux points moving for, and I'm totally ripping this off from the Fallout RPG that Modifius puts out, but I'm also going to allow aux points to, if you want, and if you can technobabble it and explain it to me, I'll allow an aux point to add a trait to a scene.
Okay. I'm going to pretend like I know what I'm talking about.
You can add a trait to a scene, and I will let you reduce a negative trait to a scene, but you can't get rid of it with an aux point. So if it's like sensor interference 2, intensity 2, you could spend an aux point and say that you start cutting through that sensory interference and drop it down to just 1. Things like that. You can play a little bit with it.
I can just say, well, if we focus the energy directly to the hollow emitters and amplify the program using the source code by mirroring the landscape back onto itself, we can create almost like we can use yes, I'm very techno-babbly.
Like a mirage.
Not only just like a mirage, we can mirror back some of the landscape around it to where it looks natural, where it uses less energy. We're not actually creating a hologram. We're just almost mirroring some of the landscape around the area, almost like bending.
Yes, bending the light.
Bending the illusion around the pods.
And that also would answer the question of how high up it needs to be, at what altitude, because we can just bend it in kind of a dome over the whole escape pod. Maybe
it wouldn't even have to be a full dome. We could even do a half, as long as all sight. Well, are we talking about out of character? Are we talking about the 2 pods that are away, or the one that's in the cavern? Because right now we have
right
2
now we're
problems.
focused on the
valley.
So
we would want it to be.
They're 4 minutes from population, but it's not an insuperable problem.
Got it.
The canyon's the one that might have eyes imminently.
Got it.
So
we want to create some kind of dome.
So quick, just very quickly. So you guys are developing a plan right now. I'm interjecting here because I'm going to make this a little easier on y'all to give you a heads up. So 2 things. First thing is that it's going to be more difficult to establish what you were trying to do at the escape pods that are closer to the battle. And that's because of the landscape. It is going to be actually easier if you're able to establish one of these by the wayward escape pod, because even though it is lost the high ground, as it were, and it's going to be able to spot from up above, it's actually easier to create that mirage because you really only have a single dome of interference to worry about, as opposed to 4 angles. You just have to kind of raise an umbrella and you should be okay with that, at least theoretically. The other thing I do want to say is whatever you do, and this is just because implementing this new rule of adding traits to Star Trek Adventure 2nd Edition comes with it the very real threat of trying to decide who's picking the lock and opening the door in D&D and what's waiting for you on the other side, and over planning, or as we like to say in STA speak, shielded tomorrow, awarding myself threat, taking too long to make decisions. Y'all thankfully have not run into any of this, but I do want to just give you a heads up that there's always a danger in that. So whatever you decide to do, and I will say, you've played this perfectly, the techno battle and everything. Whatever you decide to do right now, as a storyteller, I'm telling you, you've got a good plan here if you want to try it out. And all it's going to take is some momentum spins, some dice rolls, and a little luck.
All right. Cool. I'm happy to assist if that works for everyone.
Yes, of course.
I will start making a screen for your holo to project upon. I know what to do.
Cool.
Awesome. And what I will say is here are the elements that we now have that need to be moved into place. The Pride needs to get close enough to the planet to beam an away team down. Not beam an away team down, but send a shuttle down so that holo emitters, makeshift holo emitters and pattern buffers can be put into place to get people off planet. While all of this is happening, y'all are going to be trying to dismantle these or burying these escape pods, these lifeboats. There's also the 3rd shuttle, which you just do not have any information on. You have a lot of maybes and a general tactical situation of knowing that if they are in trouble and if there is any of these natives nearby, they're going to be easily spotted.
I already have a security team picked out and ready to go down.
So right now you have a problem that you can deal with and a problem that you don't know enough about yet. Those are the 2 challenges. What's up, Captain?
If I may, I'd like to spend 2 momentum if nobody has any problem with that.
Okay.
I would like to create a trait.
Okay. What do you want to do?
I would like to use create a trait to make a location trait.
Okay.
And the location that I would like to pick is there is a space amongst the minefield where the interference is lessened, almost to give us a better shot at sending a shuttle and tractor beaming if necessary.
Okay. In which case, go ahead and spend that momentum. That is a fantastic use of the create trait ability. You basically are using that to change a little bit of the episode so that one of your crew members, in this case, it's Lieutenant Avrali, the science officer, slaps hard the surface of their science station, goes, "There you are. Why were you being so difficult?" And then realizes everyone can hear them and says, "I'm sorry, I was talking, Captain.
Yes.
I think I have something that could help. I found a pocket here, and immediately brings the sensors readouts up in a sidebar on the main view screen, so you can see exactly what they're showing. Right here, there's what appears to be purely mathematical randomness. Looks like there's actually just enough space between each large deposit of magnesite on the other side of the asteroid field, into which you have less interference. It is a small window, though. The motions of the asteroids looks like it's going to interfere. It's going to eventually cause a problem. Sorry, you were actually talking about the planet, though, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the good news, Captain, is I actually have that too. But it's a little further away than you would want, and brings it up on the view screen, where you again see sort of this pixelated version of the landscape that it's starting to slowly resolve in front of you. And the lieutenant says, here, and points it out. You see there is a zone nearby the shuttles where it looks like it's not where the shuttles are at, but it looks like there is a small window where the interference is lessened, perhaps because there's not as much ore in the area. It's hard to say. But you get what you want. There is a window nearby the crash site that is not laden with interference.
All right. Helsman, do you think you might be able to get the Pride as close as possible without being seen and without hitting any one of those mines?
I can bring us into the upper atmosphere, not the upper atmosphere, but into a high orbit above the North Pole.
Just do be careful. Oh, I just got command of this ship. I'd hate to ding it.
Aye, sir. Helm swivels back and just says, okay. Rolling for Helm.
Does ship get an assist?
Yeah, the ship can assist.
I'm not helming it. Can I roll the helm assist?
We gonna pick you up, I swear to God.
Okay, I'll get there soon. I love this. I love my support character too. So I'm having a great time.
Yeah, you can roll the ship assist. Yeah.
Okay. That would be
Engines con, we run a 13.
Engines con or computers con?
I'm
Engines
spending
con?
threat.
Rock and roll.
Then 2 points of threats.
Is anybody rolling for the Pride?
I got you.
Your future helm officer. I'd roll.
Oh, let's go.
It was bad.
What'd you roll?
18.
Okay.
What are with these high rolls? This isn't D&D. Come on, dice.
I know.
So the good news is you are going to gain momentum.
Woo!
You gain a point of momentum, but I did spend threat. So I'm going to need you to stand by for just a moment.
Uh-oh.
What?
How dare you say that to Sam?
God damn it, Sam.
See, if I said that in reverse, if I said bye Stan, then Sam would be like, hell yeah, bye Stan. But
Yeah, I stand bys.
You stand by.
The Eminem song just starts playing.
Okay. This is going to be, yes, correct. Again, want to take a moment here to thank Modifius for having their PDFs unlocked so that I might bookmark and highlight everything I need. Making their PDFs accessible is one of the reasons why I love their games so much. Hashtag we are sponsored, technically, because we are sent product, but still, I'm just saying. All right.
Come see something Modifius with the Gen Con. Woo!
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be, right, so then this is, okay. Yep, okay. I'm going to have to make a roll real quick.
That doesn't sound awesome. Everybody get ready to do the bump and roll.
Dude, we haven't done it yet.
Hey, no.
The good news is that because you were moving over and navigating around the asteroid belt, you do not have to spend a point of momentum because you were not going through what would be considered difficult terrain in space, which you would have to normally spend a point of momentum to even do if you're going to do that. However, I spent threat, so
yes, I see.
No.
I'm going to do task determine, so 3.
I can't.
Okay.
What is that?
That is a hit.
What?
So, Captain, Or actually, no, Eliza. If you could please, Commander, have Hata roll a d20 for me.
All right.
Roll
13.
whichever one is good.
Yeah, 13.
13. Okay. I'm just a jackass. I'm going to spend another 2 points. I'm going to spend another 2 points of threat here.
Eric,
And we spend momentum to
Increase the
counter
damage.
it.
Can we counter your threat?
Do you have insurance on this car?
I feel like
Yeah.
this is
We've
we're
been
like
trying to
West Side
reach you.
Story.
If you could please roll a d20 one more time,
Okay.
as you are
15.
15. Oh, they're both. Okay. So because I spent threat, I seized the initiative.
Oh, good.
So I go first.
Oh, God.
And the attack was, as you guys are exiting, as the Pride begins to proceed at about a quarter impulse power over the exterior of this asteroid belt, staying well clear of all the rocks that are slowly tumbling in space, a red blinking light suddenly emits from behind one of these asteroids. The helms officer, as she's going over, glances down. At the same moment that she sees it, Lieutenant Zarya, you see it come up on tactical as you guys, it was powered down and it was basically running silent, as they tend to do. You catch this Romulan plasma mine immediately activate as y'all are going over the head. Clearly, Griffin 1 was correct in their logic, in that some of these mines look like they've been thrown free of the asteroid belt, likely from the gravitational anomalies of being so close to this mega gas giant and all of its spinning moons. In this case, this mine is activated. By the time you see it, it's on top of the Pride and detonates.
Can I immediately? Can I wait? Stop. Hold the phone.
You
Wait.
can't, because I got the attack.
Yes, but I might have a thing.
Okay.
Let me look at my
What do you got?
things, Eric.
What do you got? So let me tell you what I did. I attacked the Pride.
Yeah, you
I'm
should
counting it as a torpedo attack because technically I'm kind of giving it that. I'm kind of giving you guys a little bit of an edge on this because it damages like a torpedo basically because it's a mine. But
it was a difficulty 3 when it was attacking me.
Correct.
So yeah,
that's the same thing. However, I did spend 2 momentum after it hit you to make it a devastating attack, which is why I had Eliza roll twice because it hits 2 systems. Both systems
devastating, Eric.
Yes, and both systems are structure because Eliza rolled. It's all going to one spot.
Oh, geez.
I mean, good news is we had our shields up, right?
You did have your shields up. You were at yellow alerts because a cautious captain is a good captain.
Yeah.
You jumped into system. You knew there was an SOS. You did not know the situation. It was in an asteroid field and sensors were interfered with. And Captain, you called for yellow alert. So the shields are up on the USS Pride.
I have nothing that can help on this, isn't it?
Not really, no.
I was trying. I have some good.
Okay.
I have some good stuff.
Reduce. Okay. So first of all, what is the resistance of the USS Pride on the character sheet?
Resistance is futile.
1 sec.
Eric.
Resistance is.
What is your resistance rating?
That's what it says on the character sheet. Futile.
Futile. Good.
That's what I have on mine.
It is empty on mine.
Yeah, I don't.
It's empty on mine, but at default, I recall it being equal to scale, so at minimum 5, because we don't have a blade of armor or anything, fancy.
Y'all, it's empty on yours?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the one you got from you. Yeah.
When you got from me?
Maybe it just didn't. PDFs are finicky. Maybe it didn't.
PDFs get finicky, so maybe it just didn't transfer over.
Mine says futile, so I assume that means.
Okay, so I have scale 5, so your resistance is indeed 5. So 5 points of damage is immediately going to be removed from the impact of the mine.
Okay.
The rest of that is going to spill over into shields. So shields are going to take. Let me check your shield rating here. So go ahead and write that down in resistance here. What I'll probably do is y'all, just to make this easy, is I'll just screenshot the PDF and you can.
We can build we'll build a Google Doc sheet.
Yeah, build a Google Doc for it. So then y'all are going to resistance 5, your shield rate. Now shields and it's important to note that shields in Star Trek Adventure 2nd edition are beefy. They work a little differently than they did in 1st edition. Shields in 2nd edition are no joke. So except for the shields are not available on my PDF. So
I have 18. I have shields 18.
That's correct. Yes. So you guys have 18 points of shields, in which case the shields are going to take 3 points of damage.
Okay.
Thankfully, that is not enough to give you guys the shaken merit, I don't believe. So let me just double check combat.
Certainly not the stirred trait.
You couldn't help yourself, could you? So yeah, shields aren't even at 50%. Yeah.
Irrelevant.
So 3 points of damage as the shield just suddenly goes. This mine, thankfully, being as old as it is, the impact of this plasma fire erupting, encircling the starboard side of the USS Pride as this green flame arcs out and spreads across.
Wait, for clipping purposes, on the count of 3, everyone's go to the right and then to the left in true Star Trek manner. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
I'm mirrored. No.
Your other right and left.
You're all right. Well, we that was.
Listen,
I tried.
We'll practice. We'll practice. No, you did beautiful. We'll practice.
No, we won't, because we're not going to get hit again.
Oh, that's fair.
But Jordan
Pretty
shakes
much.
different. That's all that is.
You're facing the other direction. Is all.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
Everybody
Facing
shimmy.
back.
Everybody
Right,
shimmy.
right.
All right.
Okay, I just wanted that for myself because I hope someone
beautiful.
clips that.
Be honest, Bonnie, when you're in the VO booth and you're recording for the Protostar, are you shaking around? Are you like jumping around every time?
Oh, I do all kinds of things.
I was gonna say. There needs to be behind the scene footage.
Oh man, the episode of the Kobayashi Maru episode where I had to like say everyone's name, like Spock
Yeah.
and Uhura.
Spoilers.
That's season 1, episode 6. Come on now. I squealed every time. I'd be like, ah! they gave me a whole page of names to read because they didn't know who they were going to get yet. I got to do Worf, Jadzia. I got to read everybody. I was like, is everyone in this? I was like, anyway.
Beautiful.
Moving on. I
Not
wanted
yet,
to.
moving on. I got one more thing for you.
What?
Oh,
It's a plasma weapon, which means it comes with a
good.
persistence trait to it.
Of course
There
it
is a
does.
plasma fire all over the shields of the USS Pride. When this ship weapon hits, I can spend 1 to 3 momentum, and at the end of each round, the target suffers half the weapon's damage rating rounded up.
Ah!
Now, I will say this. Y'all are in luck because your shields are up and because your resistance rating is going to make it so that the Pride is going to be okay either way, which means there's no point in me spending. You're just going to watch this beautiful teal greenish blue colored flame burning on the sides of the shield barrier of the USS Pride for a few moments. A spectacular display, but the shaking of the bridge and the rest of the ship causes everyone to sort of grab their cups and saucers and to grab hold of the chair as the ship rattles a little bit. Helm officer says, "Shields holding. No damage reported, Captain."
all right.
You can confirm that, Commander. Nothing is coming through on ops. Looks like shields are down by 3 points, but otherwise you're fine. And with that, you were moved into range because the Pride can arrive in range easily at her scale, bringing you into a synchronous orbit with the North Pole.
This ship is on fire.
All right.
Sorry, I'm in a weird mood. Let's go.
Okay. So the Pride is now in position.
Are we still
From
on
the
fire?
position you are currently in, you are as close as you can possibly get without being seen.
Okay.
Unless you want to pull something pretty daring and go into the upper atmosphere and then try to obscure the Pride somehow. But yes.
So speaking of that,
Yes.
I am going to create that screen to be projected upon, which might also help conceal the Pride. I'm going to be creating the trait cloud cover.
Okay.
I came from a storm, which means that the clouds are already like that. But fun fact, one of the means of cloud seeding that we're attempting uses laser pulses, and I can use my phaser cannons to achieve a similar effect, create clouds and rainfall for a sort of Now You See Me Too, where they did the light projection into the rain. But for now, at least the cloud cover will obscure the Pride.
So you are going to
Use my phaser cannons as to initiate laser pulses that create nitric particles in the clouds for condensation.
And I love that, because the closer we get, the easier it is to beam everyone out.
So just so I understand you, you're going to shoot a storm to create more clouds.
I shoot the sky.
All right.
Sorry.
So are you? So you're basically. So this would be creating a trait, yeah?
Yes, I am creating the trait cloud.
Okay. So then, a quick recalibration of the phaser cannons that you have is going to cause the atmosphere to essentially calibrating it to interact with the storm, superheating and ionizing some of the particles to create further cloud cover, and use that essentially to basically pull a rainbow effect and create a screen of clouds that you can then project images onto if you need to.
And as the rain comes down, you can shine light into that for whatever it is engineering said they had planned.
Mm-hmm.
I was given the altitude I needed. I am delivering for the Big Bird.
In which case, I'm going to absolutely permit this, but I'm going to give it with the caveat that it's only going to be that it will only sustain itself for one scene, which is, by the way, one scene can last however long a scene needs to last. So one scene could be a couple of hours, or it could be 15 minutes. So with that, you bank up back towards the sky. Griffin 1, you find yourself flying right back towards that storm, which is moved slightly to the west from the big battle that's taking place. You also see coming through on your sensors display that the USS Pride is now perfectly materialized in your sensor display and is angled currently in a orbit just above the North Pole. You are able to pick it up because you are now close enough to have a direct uplink to the Pride. With that, you begin to implement your plan. You recalibrate the phasers using some of the sciences that you learned during the Dominion War, coming up with some pretty clever ways of getting around being detected. Sometimes the old tricks are the best tricks. Down below on the planet, anyone who would have the thought to look up would see what would look like these bright orange pulses of light crusting through clouds and causing lightning strikes. It would be quite the light show. However, many of the projectiles that are being fired through the air from one army to the next are in fact flaming. And anybody who glances up at this particular moment would just assume that what they were seeing was part of the battle and not a intergalactic spacefaring race that was trying to protect its entire population from being corrupted by the implementation of technology that they're not prepared to see. As this is all going into effect, this is the perfect opportunity to pause for our 10-minute break. And when we come back, the escape plan of finding this crashed shuttle, these crashed lifeboats, and getting everybody off-world will finally be set into motion. And we'll see if the USS Pride succeeds without violating the Prime Directive and maybe saving some lives in the process. We'll see you in 10 minutes. Welcome back. We're going to go ahead and jump right in where we left off with y'all about to create this smoke screen and illusionary effect to try to buy yourselves time to rescue the people that you know have been waiting for rescue. So right now we have a Peregrine fighter that is currently racing across the sky and trailing steam and mist and moisture in the wake as you have superheated and ionized the atmosphere here, causing the storm to expand outwards. It is a trick that you know is going to basically give you maybe a scene's worth of effect on what you're looking for, which is possibly all you need at the moment. Meanwhile, main engineering, your acting engineer is coming up with a way to get this done through various scenarios where if plan A fails, there's a plan B, some backup plans. The USS Pride is currently in orbit over the North Pole of the planet, and you guys are pretty much ready to go. So however you want to go about doing this. Also, just keeping you informed as a quick reminder, there is still no certainty or any other knowledge about the third escape pod, just that it has gone down in a general area. You don't know what the status of the survivors are or if there is any hostiles nearby.
All right, rock and roll. Let's begin coordination. Engineering, Do you have everything that you're gonna need? We're in position.
Can we make some rolls? See what we've got going on down here?
Well, it's easy enough. All you have to do is there's been enough time where you can all have assembled an away team, an engineering away team. So it'll be easy enough to just beam everyone down. But I'm sorry, it'll be easy enough to pilot everybody down there. We'll just need someone to fly a shuttle down to the surface with the engineering team. We're going to set up the pattern buffers and then get to work assessing the situation with trying to dismantle or perhaps bury or otherwise remove these life pods as quickly as possible. With that in mind,
were we also able to figure out by which mechanism we were going to do the reflection or the smokescreen imaging, or does that need to be worked on the ship while we're gone?
Well, yeah, that's going to have to be planet side. Ship can't do any of that, unfortunately. But if
that was what I was asking. Did we need to do that on the ship before we went? That was the question. So no, we'll do it down. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
you'd have to
bring the hollow emitters with.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure we had the tech with which we knew we could do it with. That was the question. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
yeah.
Hold on. Okay, so as this is all being set up and the engineering away team is being settled, also the request for you, Lieutenant Zarya, to be basically point person for the away team.
Yes. To make oh, sorry, I'm muted.
No, you're good.
Oh no, I'm not muted. I'm not muted. Yes, of course. That was my plan all along. To be there for security purposes and also
right
to be there.
So yeah.
Now I'm muted.
The Lieutenant Commander Pavin approaches you and says, okay, here's what I've been able to put together based off of what I've learned in the past 10 minutes about where the Federation is with holographic technologies and being able to do this remotely. I have a wild idea, and it's pretty old-fashioned, but
that's fun.
Well, considering where this species is in technology, we might be overthinking it with a hologram. Let me show you what I mean. And he turns over and types up on this console, and they bring up images of what looks like black and white imagery with some pretty unusual, if you might call it, dated looking transportation devices built on wheels. You're not entirely sure what you're looking at. And Commander says, all right, hear me out. So back on Earth in, I don't remember which century it was, but it was a while ago. They used to do this thing where they would project images on screens to watch sort of like film. Do you know what film is? Do you know what film is?
Like a 2D hologram? Like one of those?
It would take a celluloid picture and beam light through it, and it would project this up. Then they would just flick it as fast enough so that the frames would give it the illusion that everything was moving. Right?
Okay. Yes.
In other words, we don't really necessarily need to use photonic energy in order to create a realistic, engaging environment necessarily. All we've really got to do is kind of follow the lead of Griffin 1 and just project images up onto this great smoke screen that they're seeing.
Okay.
Perfect.
So what we could do is just use something quite basic like that, and any locals that come wandering along might get spooked by that.
Well, maybe they'll go the other direction. That also succeeds in the stay away purpose. So, I mean, yeah, that would definitely be easier than trying to find the really difficult to obtain.
Yeah. The only problem is it's going to be completely reliant on the smoke screen that Griffin 1 is building right now. So they're just going to have to keep doing it if we run out. But that's the fallback plan.
Okay.
But we're ready.
Okay. Meeting the team, I assume, down in the...
Y'all are headed to transport room 1, yeah?
Yeah.
In which case, unless...
We're doing cargo bay, right? Because we're not beaming, we're flying.
Oh,
Shuttle.
sorry. Yes, that's correct. You're flying down in a shuttlecraft. So
I was like, wait.
who is going to be flying the shuttle? Out of curiosity, and who's going on the away mission?
Well, I'll be going, but I don't think I'll be flying. I'm sure there's more people more capable than myself. Or I wouldn't say capable, but
Ask our
Qualified.
CAG who they've got to spare.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to ask.
Yeah.
Cadence, do you happen to have a pilot in mind for this particular mission? We need somebody that can fly safe and discreet.
May I make a suggestion?
Mhm.
I know for a fact your first officer has a very high con score.
You do? We got so many.
It's true.
Oh my god. Would you like to chime in?
Okay, so
on
is that still in the
I think-
air, or do we want to retcon this then?
I mean, you're still getting to know
I
your
think
crew.
you can, yeah, I think you can actually just that stands. You don't have to retcon it because Hata Ben probably isn't going to volunteer to do this, but we'll happily do it. You know what I mean? Like, I think maybe she does kind of want to though. So she's kind of like looking at the captain, like.
Belay that, Cadence. Hata, is there something that you want to say?
Oh, yes. I could pilot the shuttle and go on the away mission if that is all right, Captain.
I couldn't think of anyone better. I mean, quite literally, I don't know anyone here yet. Of course, please.
I just want to say the reason why I make the suggestion is that if I send a support character NPC, they are not going to get values or momentum spends or anything. If Eliza's going, Eliza's got values, momentum spends, and skills and focuses that will ensure.
Yeah,
things.
let's. I just want to take Eliza anywhere.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yes, how the tables have turned. Now you're sitting back seat.
Commander Ben did express interest in joining the away mission already, so it works out great.
Okay.
All right. Well, we have our team set. Everyone make your way to the shuttle bay. Try not to break anything there. I'll never hear the end of it. And good luck, everyone.
Thank you,
Okay.
Captain.
Can I use that as a rally just to buff up our momentum?
I will, but you've got to. I'm going to challenge you, Noir. If you're going to make that, something that's actually going to encourage and buff up the crew, I want to hear leadership in your voice, challenging and buffing up the crew.
All right. Well, we've survived the mine. We've stabilized the warp core in 4 minutes or less, and we have our away team all set to go. Let's quickly get this over with so we can go and pick up the rest of our team. Commander,
Understood, Captain.
Commander, they're all yours.
Thank you, Captain.
All right.
All right, I will do the rally then. Yeet. Okay, well that's 2 successes.
Nice.
I was trying to go for more than that.
That's
2
okay.
successes.
I think we only. I think
that's
we
all
had.
we need.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
then
we
there
maxed,
it is.
Did we max or we have 5? Maybe I missed one.
Well, I think we did. No, we haven't changed scenes yet. We're about to. So it's good that it's good to buff up 2 more because we're about to lose one.
All right. So y'all board your Type 7 shuttlecraft. With that, y'all are going to get your successes. You don't have to make any piloting checks just yet. So you all entered into the main shuttle bay.
Yet.
You hear the chirping alert as the hangar begins to open up. You can see not only the beauty of space on the outside, but it's kind of breathtaking as y'all are getting settled into the shuttlecraft. Just outside the window, as the shuttle bay doors are starting to open, you can see the big, beautiful horizon of the planet down below, as well as the great polar ice caps that have settled upon the northern pole, the cloud cover. But just beyond that horizon is the absolutely mind-bogglingly huge gas giant that encompasses and blacks out most of the space you can see around. It does bring up some fascinating questions about how the seasons and the day-night cycles function here and what the kind of view is from the planet side that Griffin 1 has been enjoying this whole time. You all are about to see what they're seeing. But getting inside the shuttlecraft a few moments later, you're cleared to launch. Tractor beam gently lifts the shuttlecraft up and begins to push it through the force fields. You guys exit and find yourselves with nothing but open space in front of you. Keeping in mind that, of course, in the Excelsior refit, in the Excelsior class vessels, the shuttle bay in which you are all departing from is literally at the very tail end of the ship. So it's not flying over any of the hull here. It's literally exiting out into the great vastness of space. Behind you, you can see the USS Pride in a slow orbit. But with that, you begin to angle down. Your sensors immediately detect the presence of a peregrine falcon above one of the continents. So you're able to lock in exactly to where you need to go. So with that in mind, with a difficulty of 1, I'm going to have Hata make a quick piloting check. Now, I can already tell you, whoever wants to roll this, I have the stats for a shuttlecraft.
I'll roll it.
Great.
Okay.
I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of engineering rolls coming up that I'm not going to be able to. In
this case, it is going to be an engines con check.
Okay.
So you are going, so the shuttlecraft is going to have, is only going to give you a 6. Engines 5, con 1.
Oh no. So I have to roll a 6 or better?
Yep. Let's get that extra success.
Can I roll a d6?
You for funsies, you can.
You can, yeah.
Oh! Sorry.
Nice.
I rolled a 3.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was on a d20, not a d6.
Oh, good.
I
Oh, good.
All right.
And I'm control con.
Yep.
Okay. Holy crap.
Ooh.
I got 4 successes.
Okay, so that's going to be
Because
3
of my
bonus. That'll
focus.
max you all out of momentum, and you get some bonus momentum. So it'll be easy enough to execute maneuvers in the upper atmosphere, and you have some bonus momentum to spend if you want.
I just wanted to say I got 1 crit, and then I got a 4, and my con is 4, and I have a focus in small craft.
Okay, so total of 4 successes. That's how you got your 4 successes?
Yeah.
Okay, you do have bonus momentum. I would point out that the bonus momentum you have is 2, which is enough to create a trait if you decide to.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Lisa does a figure 8.
I just fly real nice.
Right, I'm your god in the sky above the
trait.
armies. Your god is angry.
Can I actually say, like, this isn't really for a trait, but just because we're talking about clouds and coming in from the atmosphere, there's this really cool a light effect called the Brocken Spectre that happens when people are up on mountains and stuff, where it looks like you get like a really, really long shadow of the human figure with a halo of rainbow around them. Not for any sort of
very cool
trait, but if while we come in and break atmosphere and it happens when you're over clouds and the light is behind you, if we're like coming in and about to break into the clouds, the shadow gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and we've got a rainbow halo around us coming from the Pride. I think that would be very, very cool, and that's what I would like to add for this.
You mean for the trait?
Yeah.
No, just for something cool.
Oh, okay.
just while we're talking about parts of the environment, now you can do the trait.
Our trait is rainbow halo.
Our trait is Pride.
I was thinking a trait that helps disguise our entry into the atmosphere would be helpful. So, I mean, the Brocken Spectre happens with like cloud cover as well. Like clouds are a big part of that. You just said that. So maybe we're behind some clouds and there is a bit of a Brocken Spectre effect that covers our like the burn of the atmosphere as we descend down.
Like if the cloud, can we like double down on the cloud cover trait? Like, can we add an extra
can we
like
make it stronger?
Let me find out what the cost of that is, because typically if you're, so just so you know, you can create traits without spending momentum, but it's a difficulty 2 task, whatever you're trying to do. In this case, since you're burning momentum and you're spending that in order to create the traits,
it would be whatever the trait is 2. So if we're doing, like, for example, concealment, right now it's concealment 1. But if you spend the momentum or you make the roll, it becomes concealment 2, which means that if it is in our favor, we get to add an additional 2 to something. That's the part that I'm unclear on, but I've got the rules right here.
The intensity of the trait will actually, if it is a trait that you are using to your benefit. So for example, like obscurity 2 or something like that, creating these clouds, it would mean that no matter what happens, like trying to spot you all visually is going to be an increased difficulty if I'm rolling for my NPCs. It's going to be increased in difficulty 2. It also means that if you end up only being able to fly by sight alone, you are also at increased difficulty because of the obscurity. You don't have to worry about that because of sensors, at least not up here. but it basically means that you are creating something that becomes true in the scene, and the number associated with it is its intensity and what it adds to any difficulty rolls. And that's where we collaborate on that storytelling aspect instead of getting into the crunchiness of the weeds with heavy rule sets of how bonuses and penalties work with regards to numerous things that you would never be able to predict or have a rule for. So essentially, it's kind of like this all-encompassing idea of creating a trait means you're just adding that thing to be true to the scene. What's up, Bonnie?
Yeah. So, go ahead, Bonnie.
No. Just saying, instead of like cloud cover, we have really thick fog cover, and
Mhm.
yeah, I like
it. We can say that the cloud, the range of the cloud is now lower, which is fog. So
could we say the exhaust from the shuttle is offering further nucleation for the clouds? Because those come around particles, so as you come through.
Yeah, I would add to that, just to keep that in lore worth world, I would add to that and be like, you could totally do that, barring the fact that shuttlecraft do not give off any kind of visual exhaust. That can be easily changed by letting the nacelles vent and creating an effect, which is done plenty of times in Trek, where they use the nacelles to sort of vent energy and either ignite them in the atmosphere or cause some kind of essentially do with your nacelles what Sam is doing with pulse cannons.
Mm-hmm. That'd be cool.
Absolutely can do that and ionize the upper atmosphere. I would challenge you that if you're going to do that, I would invite you to use the technobabble table to explain exactly what you're doing and how to do it. In which case,
Sam did it with real science, though.
Well, shooting clouds ain't gonna cause storms.
They said with the with like exhaust from a ship, how that would work.
Well, but again, shuttlecraft don't actually.
We're making up the exhaust as though it were from the nacelles,
like releasing some kind of.
Sure, because there is no exhaust coming off of a shuttlecraft, though, using the nacelles, I invite you to use the technobabble table to explain how you're creating the exhaust to ignite the ionization and causing further cloud cover to exist. That's kind of like a good way of sort of adding to the MacGuffin that Star Trek always uses when technobabble comes spewing out of the characters' mouths to explain what's going on.
Okay. And so just to also clarify, so we are, whatever the cloud cover trait is, we want to increase the intensity by spending these 2 momentum.
Well, so to be clear though, in order to do that, if I remember correctly, you spend 2 momentum to establish a new trait in the scene or change or increase the level. So here's the way that would work. You would have to create the trait, which costs you 2 momentum. If you want to increase the intensity, it's another 2 momentum.
Isn't there already a trait?
What is
cloud cover?
Cloud cover, yeah.
Cloud cover is not currently a trait in the scene, no.
I thought we did. Yeah. I thought Sam did.
Sam created a curtain of clouds and obscurity around the site in order to create essentially a wall that can be projected upon or used to cover it up. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about extending.
We're asking if we can send it to level 2 is what we're asking.
Oh, you're asking if you can increase the trait that has already been added to the scene by Sam. Oh, okay, I understand. I thought you were talking about, because this is the reason why I was confused is because we're still on re-entry. We're still on entry. We're not actually where Sam is right now. Cadence is on another continent, and y'all are just rolling. So I was
sorry. You said we saw them on sensors, and I think we thought we were
on sensors. Yeah, they're about 2,000 kilometers from where you are right now. But the bonus momentum you have right now can be spent on just about anything else. But if you want to burn momentum or even roll for it, yes, you can increase the intensity of what Cadence has done for sure.
Yes. Yeah. So we can't do that until we can't increase the cloud cover that Sam created until we get closer.
Yes. Think of Sam's character. Cadence is in Australia, and you guys are in the North Pole. Think of it like that.
Okay.
So it'll take you a few minutes to get to where Cadence is because y'all are coming to the North Pole to avoid. You said you wanted to avoid being seen.
Oh, I have an idea.
Yeah.
How about we create a trait that our shuttle reflectivity just happens to be perfect for this cloud cover that we're coming into, and it's or actually just the sky, the color of the sky, and so it kind of camouflages us a little bit more.
Easy enough, yeah. You could just give you guys what we could do is we could just say that you're basically kind of using the old tactic of using the the light gray of the shuttlecraft and the brilliance of the sky overhead, and just to create so it's harder to spot you guys if you break free from the cloud cover. Totally fine doing that. So that means you're at increased, no matter what happens while you guys are in the air, you are at increased difficulty of 1 flying around in the shuttlecraft because of the spectacular rolls that you made when you were on reentry here.
We can just say we painted it up with chrome and we're like reflecting the blues of the sky.
So difficulty at +1 to spot y'all while y'all are flying around in the shuttlecraft.
Chrome paint job.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No
And
problem.
as we're entering,
Mhm.
Hata says, I'm pretty sure the color of this sky will help modify the secondary gravimetric ionic cover on our hull. And that'll help us to relay the imagery of us being spotted on by their eyes,
Gaining
their
momentum.
eyeballs.
I'm serious. Gaining momentum. Anytime y'all are bringing out the techno babble to bring the world to life. All right. A few moments pass as y'all travel in the atmosphere, obscured from anything that might see you racing across the sky, before you can see up ahead, based off your sensors and through the windows of the shuttlecraft, the small ship of the Peregrine flying around. You can spot what Cadence is doing, and you see the pulses of... It's almost like the discharges of the pulse phasers that are being ignited in the atmosphere. They are almost functioning like marginal low-level EMP bursts that are coming out of the Peregrine Falcon. It's kind of supercharging and causing the cloud cover to stir up. It is causing a lot more obscurity up here, but of course you don't have to worry about that because of sensors showing you exactly where you need to fly. However, you are finally getting a good look at what Cadence saw. You can see down below, far, far down below, the 3 different armies, the clashing that's taking place. From where you are, they look smaller than ants, but sensors are able to see what's happening. And Cadence, you do see the shuttlecraft on sensors now too. And they come flying out of the cloud cover about 500 kilometers from where you are.
Where's the position of these armies right now?
Right now, they're roughly
approaching, departing, orthogonal to the position they're trying to get to.
You mean in relation to the escape pods?
They coming toward the escape pods, yeah, or the landing site for that matter.
They don't look like they're moving.
Those 2 are nearby.
Yeah, they don't look like they're moving in any particular direction. The scale of this conflict makes it very difficult to see if it's functioning in any way like a wave, if it is actually ebbing and flowing in any particular direction. But they are roughly just shy of about 10 kilometers from the crash site, which puts it in a pretty precarious position if there are any scouts wandering around or if there is anybody who is not a part of the main force.
All right. I'm gonna start maneuvering around so that if I start seeing anything wandering too close, either on sensors or eyeball mark 1, I'm gonna create a noise, a tactical distraction. Think it's one of the other armies, draw them off again. So I'll be flanking around, trying to keep eyes and preparing to make them think one of these other armies is trying something. Go look over there.
Okay. All right. So Cadence, you remain basically on standby, kind of flying overhead. And
I'm going to be eyes in the sky for the foreseeable. And if an army starts drifting, you let me know, and then we're going to start to do some thrilling heroics.
Okay. All right. With that, then, if anybody else wants to do anything, otherwise we can do shuttlecraft landing on site.
Just to double check, who all is on this away mission besides me and Zaria?
Zaria.
Zaria. Okay.
Yeah,
Baya
is with you.
Baya. Okay.
Yeah, Baya.
Yes, Baya is with you, as is your acting engineer, Lieutenant Commander Pavan Even.
Okay.
Also, super fast. I realized we didn't do this last session because I was, I think we were still settling some stuff. But Bayanel is a Pacifican. She's an amphibious Trek creature. She's from the novel. It's from the novelizations. But she's got kind of like a bluey green with a little bit of purple iridescent kind of scaled skin, and she's got fins that go down the back of her head. She's got really, really big, like obsidian black eyes, and like slits for nose, big wide smile. And she's kind of like jittering in her seat. 2 away missions in the same day. After her first away mission was an hour ago, she's kind of on an adrenaline high.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I never described her.
She kind of, and I could correct me if I'm wrong. She kind of reminds me a little bit of like Doug Jones's character in The Shape of Water. Just a little bit.
A little bit.
Kind of a little bit.
Hold on. Yeah. With more fin. She's got
more
like
fin.
a rooster crow kind of fin thing going on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, with that, you see the landing craft or the lifeboats up ahead, Commander. You bring the shuttle around in a beautiful little like twist and gently set it down. The wind from the repulse of the shuttlecraft causing a lot of the foliage to sway back and forth quickly as the shuttle settles down. As the shuttle touches down, you see a lot of civilians suddenly come dashing up with a lot of relief on their faces as the shuttlecraft lands. The ramp, the back of the shuttlecraft begins to open up and the atmosphere comes flooding into the shuttle. It's very dry. A lot of the foliage and forest trees and such that are around where the shuttle landed, it's very arid here. So you're getting like the dry bark and oak style kind of trees that you would find here on Earth. You see like a sparse vegetation and a couple of things that look vaguely reminiscent of very hardy plant life, like cacti almost, that are used to growing out here in very dry desert environments. But as it opens, walking up to you with an enormous amount of relief on his face, you see a human with a big smile on his face, just shaking his head and says, "We are so happy to see you."
Oh, I am glad for that. I am Commander Hata Ben, First Officer of the USS Pride. And this is my team. And I'll introduce each of them.
Hi, I'm my name's Hunter, and I'm speaking on behalf of everybody here. We were just trying to figure out what exactly we were going to do to set up to find some shelter for the evening. But how do you plan on getting us all out of here with just one shuttlecraft?
Well, I actually above game. Did we talk about that? Or we just
pattern.
Oh, that's right.
I got a big bag over my shoulder.
All right,
Yes.
cool. I point to Baya and I say, we will be transporting you out. We just have some pattern buffers that we need to set up to amplify the signal.
However, if there are any able bodies willing and ready to help de-symboling these pods, because we are going to have to also beam away them in pieces, your help would be tremendously welcome.
Beam away the pods? Why?
They can't stay here.
We can't risk these primitives, locals, from finding this technology.
Oh. Okay.
Inhabited planet.
Part of our Prime Directive.
Okay. He glances back and you see this is these lifeboats are about the size of runabouts. They're scale 2. There's 2 of them here. They don't look anywhere near as advanced. They look like they have minimal thruster technology to create a soft landing and probably enough bulk for life support. This does not look like this is actually going to be complicated to disassemble them. But I
have schematics.
But a scale 2 vessel, you and Commander Pevin give this thing a look over, and Pevin turns and looks at you and goes, "This is going to take more than 2 days. We can't break down 2 of these things. We're gonna need at least." Okay, hold on a sec, Commander. Pavin walks over to you, and the Trill just leans forward and says, if we can get 2 more engineering teams down here, we might be able to pull this off."
Would it be quicker to bury them as you suggested before?
Possibly, but if we're going to do that, we need some kind of it's trickier because if we can find some kind of cave or underground area where we could just beam them, or I don't know. Is the answer to your question? I don't know.
How much cloud cover can we get here? Can we get enough cloud activity here to just tractor it right off the planet's surface?
It's possible, but if we're going to keep messing with the weather, I'd probably want to talk to the chief science officer to make sure we weren't about to unleash some kind of supercell on the entire continent.
Yeah.
I'm going to start setting up pattern buffers while you look around. Is that
cool? Everybody, yes. The two Ox crew members who are also engineers fall in line right behind you, right behind you, Baya, as they start helping you set up the pattern buffers. That's going to take a few minutes here. You whip out your tricorder and start immediately setting up and triangulating exactly how many you can get. You're using about 7 in a circle here to try to get people off. You're going to be able to beam people in batches of 6 at a time. It's not a matter of how many, it's a matter of strengthening the signal.
You said there were two pods here that fit about 20, or am I misremembering?
There's 40 people that need to be beamed off this planet. You can beam 6 at a time.
Not bad. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So this isn't going to be any kind of extended roll or any time task or anything like that right now, because you guys have all sank all of this into a trait to create some cloud cover. Right now, this is not exactly the most hospitable place to come looking for things. You guys have kind of bought yourself the time you need to get the people off the planet. The trick is going to be figuring out what y'all want to do about these damn lifeboats.
We can get weirder with that once the people are safe.
The tractor beam is not a terrible idea, but we would definitely need to get creative with distracting, because a giant curtain of energy coming out of the sky and lifting these things out would attract attention. So we could wait till nighttime and do more environmental manipulation, maybe?
It gives off light a little, doesn't it? Wouldn't it stick out more in the nighttime?
It would definitely stick out more. If we had enough of environmental, I'll use this time to think about maybe this is when we have to. The problem is we can compensate for what's going on here immediately at the site, but compensating for some kind of energy beam coming out of the upper atmosphere, we don't have to. We don't have to, because we have an entire fleet of badass pilots and shuttles that have tractor beams.
Yes. Yeah.
Taps on the communicator. Captain, this is Pavin here on the surface. We managed to make it down just fine. We're here talking to the people we've rescued. They all seem like very friendly folks. Not too familiar with the Prime Directive, but we've managed to educate them. The commander's in the middle of talking to them right now. Bai is currently setting up the pattern buffers, and while the ensign's doing that, we've been talking out exactly how we're going to get people, these shuttlecraft off planet. I think we actually kind of came up with an idea. If we can use multiple small crafts to engage tractor beams, we should be able to easily coordinate lifting some of these lifeboats off planet and into the upper atmosphere. We're going to need some of the most talented pilots Starfleet's got, but thankfully the Pride's got those. So I'm thinking that's our ticket to getting this done.
You're muted.
Captain, I'm detecting some interference. Cat, USS Pride, come in.
It seems like it might be hardware interference, Captain.
Please, no more problems now. Well, great. The moment I leave the Pride, we suffer a complete systems failure in comms.
Captain, do you read us?
Perhaps it's temporary.
Loud and clear. Sound quality's going to be a little bit lessened in the moment. I think that's the interference, but yes, I completely hear and understand. I'm going to pivot over to Cadence. Cadence, did you get that? And is that something that you and your crew can do?
Cadence, do you come in? We can't read. Cadence, are you there?
Damn atmospheric interference.
I'm working on the interference. Hold on.
Boost the signal.
For full transparency, Eric.
Yes.
Federation attack fighters are not specified to have tractor beams.
That is correct. Which means you would not be able to use the peregrines to do this.
Yes, I'm confirming that because I don't have any information on the capabilities of shuttlecraft.
So shuttlecraft, this is kind of one of those areas where shuttlecraft have been seen in the series to have tractor beams. They are not very powerful considering the scale of the shuttlecraft. They mostly function as like pod retrieval or what do you call them? Not pods, probe retrieval. Like if you're trying to retrieve any kind of probes and stuff like that. Or even like rescuing a wayward Starfleet officer in their suit who's spinning out of control in deep space. Like shuttles do have that type of shuttlecraft. What the engineer is pitching that is if multiple scale 1 shuttlecraft are using their tractors on a scale 2 ship, they should be able to tractor it out. That is something you could easily create with a trait.
All right.
Yeah. Because shuttlecraft kind of like so many things in Star Trek when it comes to transporters and shuttlecraft, really they kind of just they can techno-babble their way into figuring out how it works. And in this case, yeah, a Type 7 shuttlecraft, you could do it.
I think not having fully tested some of these new pilots, if they're not capable of these kind of maneuvers in a shuttle, we're going to throw them out anyway, Captain.
Come in, Captain.
Has anyone
there?
looked to see if there might be any?
Sorry, we have a sound delay.
We seem to be experiencing a delay in the transmission.
Audio delay.
Has anyone checked to see if we could repair the propulsion system on the escape pods? That seems to be the simplest way to get them airborne and off planet.
What I'm hearing is you don't trust my pilots, Captain.
No, we just want to give them as much of an assist as possible.
Good, so we can send my pilots, Captain.
Absolutely. And if we can't reach them, then we could just shoot them from the off planet with their own propulsion system. Bingo, bingo.
Excellent. Big Bird Comms, if you can patch me through.
We have got to find another name.
Good luck, Captain. Sensors haven't succeeded thus far. Patch me on through to the hangar. And I can tell the pilots that if they fail, you're going to shoot them? That was what you said? Good. Perfect.
Pavin glances over at you, XO. And it's one of those looks of just like wants to see how the first officer is taking this. This sort of like, you get the impression that Pavin seems uncertain about the banter and just kind of glances over at the first officer for a second. When you catch Pavin glancing at you, XO, he immediately just looks away again and goes, all right, well, I'm going to go see if I can get the idea on how the thrusters are on the life pods and if we can use them to get them to break atmosphere. I'll be right back. And he flips open the tricorder and starts walking over with his engineering kit. I think he definitely catches a big bug-eyed look from Baya too, like a you Pavin too? Okay, cool. Pavin just looks back at you, and you remember something Pavin told you the other day in the galley when y'all were sitting there before you had arrived on station. When Pavin was kind of jokingly telling you, I promise the next time there's an option to put you on an away mission, I'm putting you on it, I swear. When y'all were having drinks, you and a few of the other engineers, Pavin took a long drink out of that icy glass, setting it down on the table and says, the trick is, anytime you see something that makes you feel funny between command staff, like if they get heated, always pretend you didn't hear a damn thing. Cut back to Pavin just nodding at you as he walks past you and heads over. Heads over and flips open the tricorder and starts immediately running a scan. And I'm going to roll for your acting engineer right now, who is playing as a supporting character. I have a feeling that we are going to have an NPC engineer again, and that is totally fine. Just pull this up. Okay, here we go. A tricorder. Okay, cool. So he starts running a tricorder scan. All right. Is anybody else doing anything? Otherwise, Pavin's going to come back with an update.
Hata is just helping with the beaming people out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So
if we're all set up, then I will give assist to the XO as needed.
These gorgeous like pylons that glow with this ambient blue energy ignite as they all activate immediately up on the USS Pride. Sensors crystallize and a transporter signal comes through clear as day. With those in place, I'm going to have Baya make a quick engineering check.
Okay.
And Hata, you can assist on this.
Great.
So go ahead and if you would please make me a check and feel free to use whatever you feel like you were using here. And
I could do control engineering or reason engineering. What are you rolling, Baya?
Probably. It depends on what I'm rolling for. Is this just like to make sure the transporters work? Is this?
Yeah, it's essentially you are essentially using this is requiring refinement, so I think control engineering is a completely valid choice here.
That would probably be my call also.
Yeah.
All right. And then I would like to back that up and have my assist be reason engineering, because I feel like Hata is just there kind of supervising and making sure everything is tuned correctly and things.
Yeah.
Reason engineering is a study of designs or a device or a system and gain additional understanding of its function. So that's sort of an exploratory thing. This time around, I'd say that's totally fine. You're basically just running a check and double checking Baya's work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I have a focus in transporters and replicators.
This would absolutely apply.
Sick.
So you will get that.
Oh,
I just want to say, while this is happening, I've just been circling the perimeter and keeping an eye on things. Just in case you try to throw some of that threat at us, I have been doing my
Thank you.
Just wanted to throw that out there in advance.
Good. Keep us safe. Could I buy a die? Would that be okay with everybody?
Spin a momentum.
Yeah. Spin a momentum.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
What's the difficulty on this? I forgot.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
I haven't given it just yet.
Okay.
So the difficulty is 3.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
Mhm.
Okay.
I got one success. So.
The good news is if you succeed, it will remove the trait transporter interference and sensor interference from this scene. What'd you get?
Okay. So that's 5 for me.
Dang.
6 including Hata's.
Okay.
I rolled 2 under my department number.
So track your momentum then.
We're back.
Focuses are great.
Ooh.
Okie dokie. Yes, that will charge you guys up. With that in mind, you guys are able to activate, and that will remove the trait from the scene. So here at the crash site, you will no longer have any problems beaming people 6 at a time. However, I am going to let you all know that as of now, I'm going to start tracking time passage based on scene, not just because I'm tracking the smoke screens and the weather, the environmental effects that you've caused in order to create the distraction you need to do this, but there are events that are starting to unfold outside of this immediate scene that are being affected by the passage of time.
Yes.
So with that, you guys start transporting by 6, getting people off planet. And Captain, you start getting confirmation that survivors are being beamed aboard and taken to sickbay.
Oh, thank goodness. All right. I'm just going to... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead. I can wait until you're done.
I was just going to check in on the away team. Report.
So,
Captain, we are beaming people out. We have begun that process, and our engineer, Pavin, is checking the propulsion systems on the escape pods.
Wonderful. Everything's going well then. Cadence, everything all right on your end?
The baby birds are getting to their shuttles. I'll be rendezvousing up with you at the North Pole momentarily. What is wrong with your ship?
Yeah, we had an encounter with a inert mine that was a little less inert than we originally predicted. No harm, no foul.
There's a plasma on
we
your
could consider
ship.
it
That seems like harm.
We were stress testing our shield system. I'll update you fully on your return, I just kind of look over at our helmsman like,
look what you have wrought upon us.
The Ox crew member sitting at the helm just glances back at you and turns back towards the console.
all right, well, everyone, about business. We'll maybe be out of here sooner than we think. I'd also like to check on our backup from Starfleet. They said they'd be here in 4 hours. I'm not sure how much time has passed, but I'd like to keep an eye on that.
Sure. So it's okay to retcon this, but I was actually not told that you were requesting. I was told that you had the option if you required further help. Help could be there in 4 hours.
We did.
Okay. In which case, then game time wise, currently, I would say it's been about an hour since that request came in.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'd like to check in on comms with the other group, not the Canyon group, of people to pick up. But the first group I checked in with, the one I could raise on comms, the evacuees.
Oh, the ones, yeah. They're the ones currently having a conversation with the XO and everybody down below.
We're still not. Okay.
Yeah, we haven't gone to the canyon yet because it was it was deemed more difficult to get there, so we started with these ones.
Started with these ones. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, then we're good. All right, then yeah, I'll form up with baby birds on the North Pole.
Okay. So you're headed back up to the Pride, is that right? Is that what I heard you say?
Not all the way up, just back into clouds because I'm gonna coordinate with the tractor shuttle.
Okay.
Team.
Easy enough. Okay. So with that in mind, coming back over to you, XO, Haven approaches and says, well, I did some preliminary scans on the lifeboats, and Commander, there ain't no way these are breaking atmosphere. These thrusters look like they're pretty much good for maneuvering and pretty much good for slowing a ship down from ramming into something. My guess is they're designed specifically for soft landing if they come crashing out of an atmosphere. Frankly, these people are lucky to be alive. These shuttlecrafts, these things look like they're probably over 60 years old and have not really been maintained that well.
All right. In that case, Pavin, I think we should have the ship scan this planet to look for some places we can bury these things. I think taking them apart will take too long. Transporting them out is too complicated. I think putting them in the ground might be the best way.
Well,
we currently have ships coming in to try to tractor them out.
Oh, we did add that trait, the tractor trait.
We didn't add the trait yet. It had been pitched as an idea.
Okay, but we plan to.
That's why I was moving off to the North Pole to coordinate with.
We're checking feasibility. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then, okay.
As a backup, that isn't a bad idea, though.
Yeah. So retconning that a little bit, Hata says, "Well, we'll try the tractor beams." And if that doesn't work, I think we're left with the bury them somewhere option. So I will ask our science officer on the ship to do a scan and start looking for locations.
Okay, sounds good. And I guess the next big question is what we're going to do about that last pod.
I'll ask the science officer to give us more info on that location as well, and we should start making a plan to get over there. So I'm gonna I'll update the captain about what I just said. About transporter plan is still in a go for now. Backup plan is to bury them, and then I will also send a message to the science officer and say, "Can you start scanning the terrain for us and seeing what's below the ground? Are there good places to potentially bury these?"
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna. So when you update Jiren, you're telling them about everything that was told to you, including the scenario with the pods and how they're unable to fly.
Oh yes, sorry, yeah, for sure.
Are you able to tell me exactly what it is that the pods are unable to do? If I recall correctly from Academy, all it takes to fly is power, roll, pitch, and yaw. We don't need them to successfully maneuver. We just need them to fly. If we, go ahead, please.
I believe the issue is that their thrusters are not strong enough to break atmosphere and break out of atmosphere. Basically, they don't have powerful enough engines. We could get them up potentially, but we can't get them out off the moon
At all or safely?
Pavan?
Safely for sure, we couldn't do. But I can tell you that the commander's right. They don't have enough thrust to break atmo. Not even close. I wouldn't trust them after you got them maybe half a mile up. I wouldn't trust that you're ever going to get them back down again without blowing up. I don't even know how much. They're not even using a traditional antimatter fuel source, Captain. It looks like they're really old school, old lifeboats, just designed to stop them from blowing up when they land. I can't guarantee these thrusters are even capable of causing them to hover.
Question. Are these like manned ships? Like, was there a pilot for this Zodiac boat?
It looks to you, upon reading the scans from Pavan, that piloting might be something of a generous way of describing the control consoles of the interior of this thing.
There's a control console, though.
It looks, yes, there is some kind of control console.
We could, if whoever was running it before, if we could keep them here, maybe they can give our tractor beams an assist on the way out, so it's a little less difficult if there's somebody steering with them. Maybe that's feasible?
Pavan shrugs and says, possibly, but honestly, they're not maneuvering thrusters, just so you all know. These are thrusters that are literally designed to give you a soft landing.
They're just on the bottom. They're not going to,
kind of based on the bottom. They're thrusters that help even out the life pod if it's going to make a crash landing and to break its momentum if it's going to hit the ground hard. So if you activate these to try to maneuver them, you're going to be able to basically go kind of up and down and kind of arrest your momentum forward, and that's mostly it. I wouldn't think it's accurate to call it propulsion. It's more like sticking an uncontrollable rocket on the end of a stick and just shooting it up in the sky.
It's like that mining lander in For All Mankind. It just goes pff, pff, and then it goes down.
Right.
And then it goes down. Yeah.
Yeah. The control console on the inside of these things looks like it's mostly designed to communicate an SOS. Looks like it has some basic star chart navigation so people can know where they are. And looks like the thrusters are just kind of an emergency switch.
All right.
Captain, any ideas?
Well, I think we may have to go with burying them for now, but that leaves us in the risk of accidentally breaking the Prime Directive. I'd much rather have them off-world.
If they find them, that's true. Well, we still do have Plan A, which is the Peregrine fighters.
Yeah, I just
shuttle tractor beams.
Yeah, and just throw out there, Captain, the burying thing. I don't know if we can do that, just because the entire planet is made out of a ore that's difficult to beam out of. You were talking about trying to get them into that even more so. So it's tricky. It was kind of an idea I had at the top of my head when I thought maybe we could blast a hole in the ground and just throw them in. But that was sort of an act of desperation.
Above table, I'm now seeing why captains go, you've got 45 minutes to figure it out. There's a lot of no out of this guy.
And
it's so many times where like Riker was like, look, Geordi, I just need you to fucking do the thing, okay?
Just get it done, man.
How it's done. Whatever you say, we'll do it, but just fucking do it. We've got like
figure it out.
All right, yeah, let's just we stick with the tractor beam for now, and if that sucks, then we move on from there. We don't need I think it works. A little engineer.
So while this discussion is happening, I need our chief of security to make a roll for me.
Oh, balls.
Oh, dear.
I knew something was happening. That's why I said it in advance. I'm walking the perimeter.
Yep, that's why you're getting this roll. You told me you were walking the perimeter.
I was like,
you were very specific. You told me you were being a chief of security.
That's right. I don't know any of this engineering crap. But I do know when Eric has a table of threat sitting there. I know what I'm doing. All right, what am I rolling?
All right, you are going to make me a that's a really good question, actually. It's definitely going to be security.
Okay.
I think what I'm going to have you do is make me
control.
I think what I'm going to do is have you make me a give me a second here.
Oh God.
Yeah. For this, I'm also going to, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that because you're walking the perimeter, you've also got your tricorder out.
Absolutely.
Which it is kind of not as efficient as it normally is, thanks to your surroundings.
I would absolutely have that out.
Okay.
And my phaser. I'd be double fisting.
I would say make a control security check if you would, please.
Beautiful. I'm gonna take a momentum to grab an extra.
And the difficulty of this, because earlier your captain created a trait where there is a area around the crash site that is not affected by the sensor interference.
Mm-hmm.
The difficulty of this is going to be only 1.
Thanks, Captain. Okay, I'm going to take that.
Should
I? Oh, shucks. Okay, let's see. 2 successes.
2 successes.
Well, I have a focus. If I can use a focus, then it would be 3.
What would your focus be? Is it acrobatics?
I'm
teasing you. I'm teasing you.
Yes, yeah, acrobatics. Obviously, I was.
I'm going to use my acrobatics to make a perception check. Go ahead and what is your focus?
I would probably use the focus of. No, I don't know if the focus would apply.
You don't have a security focus as a security? Character?
I do have a security focus. I mean, obviously, I have ones that would. I would have
Bonnie it.
Well, interrogation. I'm trying to think of any or perception. No. I need to.
What are your focuses?
I'm looking at my page and I don't have any of my focuses written down, and that's what's freaking me out. I'm like, what are my focuses?
That would indeed make it difficult to choose one of your focuses.
Yes, I'm like, what's happening? I have my values, but not my focuses.
Yeah, Bonnie's PDF kept eating her character sheet.
My PDF, I've refilled it out like 3 times.
And you know what? I can't bring the world down on you for this because clearly I don't have the Pride's shields because my PDF ate it.
So I'm gonna print my sheet tonight and redo it by hand.
I love you.
Like you remember, you know how I used to have that paper planner? I was that nerd. I still have a paper planner, but like where everyone has like the Google planner and everything's electronic. And my
can I just say that
can
I just say that since a majority of this group has ADHD, I'm surprised we don't go off the tracks like this more often.
Oh well, in any case, I'm sure I have let's just say I have a focus that totally pertains to this.
Sure.
Yes. I take handwritten notes for these. Of course, I have a paper planner.
I don't think it's meta at all to say that like of some kind of vigilance focus of like wanting to protect your. Yeah, I don't have any problems suggesting. Plus, you can actually. You could spend an aux point here since no one's touched them this game and say, bam, I've got to focus in keeping perception if you would like.
Yeah,
you can do
I'm very I mean, can I just say that my character has been on red alert since we landed.
Okay, then this aux point is coming to you from Guru Matt.
Oh, thanks, Guru Matt.
So you have a focus in this.
I do. In whatever this is, I do.
Yep. Okay. So what'd you get? Difficulty was 1?
Then I got 2 successes, 3 with a focus because
3 with a focus.
I rolled a 4.
So you get to bank 2 momentum or you can spin them. But your tricorder is getting clearer readings than it normally would because you come across this patch that the captain was able to detect with the chief science officer in orbit.
Yes.
Tricorder is picking up a couple of life signs, but they're not moving towards you all. It seems like the traits that you all created, this smoke screen, the weather effect, might be working and is actually keeping folks away from the site. However, it's worth noting this because it means that on the perimeter outside of this area, some of these life forms that are being detected are they may have actually wandered in here had you not created those environmental effects to give you guys some blocking. you're also getting a readout of the life forms themselves. So you're getting like a detailed scan as it starts to spring up. And it's not looking promising, Lieutenant. What you see, Starfleet, first of all, has never had contact with any of the native life of the Tonyoto system. The Tonyoto system is primarily known for the colony that was here on one of the worlds, and I believe that was Tonyoto 2. This is Tonyoto 4b, which is one of the moons of the gas giants. You were vaguely, Starfleet knew that there was a pre-warp civilization here, but they had not done any research yet.
Sure.
So you're getting your first look at the natives of the Tonyoto system. And what you see is very similar to what would appear to be a insectoid style race that stands close to roughly 7 feet at their natural height from what you're looking at.
It's a bug planet.
It is a bug planet.
Oh no.
What you're seeing is they are vaguely reminiscent of beetles.
Okay.
It would seem. They have an outer shell, and they are, it looks like they are bipedal, but not by the pair. They have multiple legs, of course. So they are imposing, to say the least. But what you're also detecting is they seem to have weaponry as well. Now, remember, you can spend momentum as always to get any more information you may want, but that is the baseline information of what you see.
I would like to spend a momentum to see if I can get any details of their weaponry, how advanced, what kind of technology, or if any, we're looking at. I mean, I can't remember. They don't have much technology yet because it's obviously they're pre-warp.
We heard medieval. We've heard trebuchets. We've heard flaming projectiles.
So what you get, a more detailed scan as it comes back. First of all,
these in particular,
for reference, as you were getting, they look very similar to the Gartham. If you're not familiar with that, it's from an entirely different. It's an entirely different franchise. The Gartham are the servants of the Skeksis and the Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
The big beetle creatures. They're very similar to. Just Google it if you don't know Gartham. So. They look like that in size and the way they move.
How quaint.
The weapons and whatnot that they are using are indeed, it looks like they are, it does look like they're sort of medieval styled. Right. They are using blades, spears, and armor. What comes back to you about that, though, is, of course, they are using the natural resources of this world, which means, to your horror, you realize that a lot of their armor and weapons looks like it is made with heavy deposits and traces of refined magnesite. And in that particular moment, you uncover a trait in the scene.
Okay.
Have you ever just unplugged your mic suddenly?
I do it all the time, actually. Which you're not allowed.
Oh, okay. Because I was waiting for the trait. I was like, wow, this is a dramatic pause.
I literally just like, this is the most difficult. You literally have to depress down and pull the plug in order to unplug this mic. And somehow waving my hand, I did all of that at once. All right. So the trait that you uncover is sensor shadow. What that means is, because they are wearing magnesite armor with magnesite weapons, you can see that they are there, but you're suddenly becoming aware that you don't know where there is. They could be 10 kilometers closer or further away than the sensors are actually telling you. You're seeing basically, they're appearing in the tricorder as ghosts almost. So you're fairly certain that the number of life forms you're picking up is only 3, but just which group of 3 is the real group is the next question on the list.
Oh dear God. Okay. I want to contact the captain.
Okay. Tapping on your communicator, you get in touch with the.
And I'm just gonna basically open comms in general. Okay. And be like, Captain, we have a situation here. There are locals nearby, but my sensors can't tell how far, how close. Their armor and their weapons are using the same mineral that is disrupting our sensors. We need our engineering team to recollaborate, to encrypt anything, update, encode something. Our sensors need to be able to identify locations of these locals, because if not, we are going to be in big trouble. and we might be breaking the Prime Directive sooner rather than later. I don't know if I can find a way to keep these preoccupied or even where they are, where they're coming from.
Heard. Engineering, do you have any ideas?
Hearing this for the first time, Pavin looks across the field over at you, Baya, and then at the two other Aux crew engineers, and then back to Baya, and then taps on the communicator and goes, no. But give me just a moment, Captain. This is a lot of new information.
It's why I opened a channel to all of you. I just didn't know if there's any way we can boost this and find out more information.
Wait. Do you have this? And she kind of gives you the tool that you're holding. Can I go? I have an idea. I'm not.
Go.
Okay. She kind of like she scrambles up to Zarya and says, "Can I try something on your tricorder? Wait, maybe we should use mine so that. Wait, is there a difference between yours and mine? I'm not really sure. It doesn't really matter. Okay.
No, there's not. Just do.
Can I find the inverse? The inverse. If we can find the pieces that are moving, then the magnets that we're having issues with it. I'm wondering if we can reverse some sort of the eyes on it. If it's a magnesite, if there's some sort of reverse magnetic thing that I can do just to your tricorder here instead of from up on the ship. Can I try to jury rig, which is one of my skills, and some sort of like, what's it called? Not infrared, when you like reverse an image, invert. Can I try to invert this image somehow and compare the two and see if we can find the like spots that are moving or something?
Eat your mic.
You're eating your. You need to eat. I can't hear you.
Even like sorry.
Though also infrared would work. That was how we found magnesite on Mars, infrared spectroscopy.
Infrared too. Just basically trying to like there's different frequencies that she can overlay over them to try to figure out the pieces, like if pieces of magnesite that are moving or something like that, or dark spots.
I'll do you one better. If you're willing to spend momentum, I'll let you basically just piggyback off the success that Cadence had when they looked for shadows. They basically did the exact same thing when they encountered these sensor problems, and in order to basically wanted to find out which silhouette was real.
Yes, that's what I want to do.
So if you want to piggyback off that, I'll let you just have that for 2 momentum.
I'll take it.
We need it. Absolutely.
Also, full transparency, I spent 2 threat to throw that trait at you guys. So what this is going to come down to is you're basically spending 2 momentum to remove the trait that I just added to the scene.
To counteract
However, it is going to cost time.
Okay.
So, but the good news is you don't got to roll for it or anything. You're just doing it. You're getting it done. So this is just another problem y'all are tackling.
I'm just gonna hand them my scanner and just be like, I don't understand any of the words coming out of your mouth, but do it. Whatever it is you said, do that.
I will.
Please.
I will.
Above table. How many escape pods are there? Have we gotten any of them out? And how close do we know that the civilians are to seeing them?
We're just getting the people out.
Y'all are currently on like the 3rd round of beaming survivors up. The escape pods have, keep in mind, in terms of timeline, the only thing that has happened in the past few minutes is he told you these things can't fly themselves out of here.
Okay.
That was maybe 5 minutes ago game time.
All right.
The escape pods are still right where they were. And right now, Cadence is currently landing a Peregrine Falcon. Or were you swapping? You were swapping out to a shuttlecraft? You weren't yet, were you?
No, I'm just rendezvousing so that we're all flying together, so that I have eyes on them. I've rendezvoused to fly with my wing as a wing.
Okay, cool. So you don't want to shuttlecraft. You are letting your wing fly shuttles, and you're going to take point with a Peregrine.
I had no particular sense that we had time for that, and plus,
it's faster if you do it that way.
Faster. This is faster. In terms of time, and I might need to be other places, and
all of your reasons make sense. All of your reasons make sense. I needed just to clarify it. So in that case, by the time you rendezvous with the Pride, the shuttle wing has already departed and has fallen into formation behind you. And you can hear it's not difficult to pick up the sounds of irritation in your wingmate's voice, who you had sent back to the Pride when y'all were flying through the asteroid belt.
Yeah, Marceau, I hear it.
Marceau is annoyed and says, "Well, here we are again."
Hey, now with fewer plasma mines. All right, everyone, form up on me. Good news. There is a lightning storm out. We're going to try to time these tractor beams off the lightning strikes. If we look like lightning, we raise less suspicion, we break fewer Prime Directives. And I'm trying to keep our breaking of the Prime Directives to a maximum of 0.
Okay. Understood. Copy that.
All right, let's go in. We're going to test. Just don't push too hard on that beam. But realistically, you might have to push pretty hard on that beam.
Sure thing. No problem. Whole reason why I signed up to the Pride, so I could be a glorified tow truck driver.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that from you, Marceau. Just for that, you're up first. Sultani, form up on Marceau. The two of you are going to take the first tow. If we need to get a third, Jad, that's you.
Copy that. From the view screen, Captain, you see a wing of shuttles following a peregrine back down planet side. At this rate, you'll have this whole mission wrapped up and clean and neat by the time Starfleet arrives.
Which is 2 hours?
About 2.5 hours. They're going to get here and it's going to be all done, unless something goes wrong. Planet side.
Really quickly, can I attempt to rally us?
Sure. Is this just to generate momentum, or because right now, if I'm not mistaken, y'all are full. Y'all are maxed out.
Oh, we are.
I have us at 4.
We have, yeah, I think we have 4.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, 4 momentum. Okay, cool.
I just spent.
Because
You just spent, that's right. You spent to get rid of my trait. That's what it was.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
We used 2 just now.
Okay, cool. Yep. All right.
Okay. All right, team. We've got a pre-warp civilization on our heels, about to find a lot of tech that they're not ready to see. We still need to get out of here, and Starfleet's on the way. So let's get this done as quickly and efficiently as possible. If this plan doesn't work, I'm tired of thinking of other ideas. Have you ever heard of the Gordian knot? We're going to cut it right down the goddamn middle. So get this done, or we're going to blow these pods up and bail. We don't have time for this.
Hear that, Griffins? We don't get this. They blow those pods up on us. We're not letting the captain have that satisfaction. Let's go, 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 go.
On the other hand, there's blowing stuff up.
Yeah, you want to use those little ticklers on the front of that shuttle? I thought not. You're going to get some real guns once we get to Chandler. And the sooner we do this, the sooner we get there, and the sooner I can see all you fine folks and some fighters.
We've tested the shields today. Don't tease me into testing the phasers. Now let's go.
All right.
What did your rally roll?
3.
All right.
Could we, off the back of that, amplify our cover for thunderbolts and lightning? Very, very frightening me.
I was gonna say,
Galileo.
let's spend 2 for a trait and another 1 to what is it? To cut the time of something in half.
Yes.
Yes. So there is a reduced time, which is 2 momentum, and then create a trait, which is another 2.
So you're going to continue using the weather cover, and you're going to do this quickly. I will agree to all of this, but I am going to now alert you all that at this stage, the entire I can't give you a sense of the scale, just to say that there is a large population of the natives of this planet that has been very close by. Doing this again, it is impossible not to start rousing suspicion that something is happening. How they are rationalizing it and how they are putting it together is anybody's game. But at this point, it is going to start. We're not there yet, but at this point, it's going to start becoming clear that something unusual is happening. Whether or not its source, that is remained to be seen. But it will start. This is probably going to be the last time you can pull this off without having some kind of effect take place, where they are not going to start rationalizing, jumping to conclusions, coming to investigate any number of reactions to it. But just like on Earth, if we were to suddenly start witnessing bizarre weather patternings happening, and it continues or it amplifies, and it's something unlike anything ever heard or seen before, particularly if we're in a superstitious period of our, like we've left that, superstitious period of our evolution, we're going to start jumping to some conclusions about what we're seeing, eclipse style. So you can absolutely pull this off. And I will also tell you that you will not have to make rolls here, especially because you've decided to implement the entirety of the USS Pride's shuttle wing with some of the ace pilots of the Federation flying these things. Really, it's just cutting down the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have, if I could please, just have Cadence make a roll here. And Cadence, I'm going to give you an assist, but this is literally just coordinating the towing efforts of the wing and leading them out, because activating the tractor beams, all that stuff, anybody can do that who's got basic Starfleet shuttlecraft training. It's the coordination and following the wing commander is what's going to make all the difference. So,
absolutely.
So go ahead and make your roll, and you can get an assist, of course, from your fighter.
Super fast before we do into this, for a resource management, when Noir rolled rally, he rolled one more than we were able to have. Does that disappear, or because an action was taken immediately, could we, because we were about to spend 4 momentum, does that, can we use that as a floating thing, or do we have to spend all 4 from our max pool?
The bonus momentum can only be spent on the action that caused it to come to life in the first place. So you can spend that bonus momentum right away, but it has to be Noir spending it for something.
He immediately then put in an effect,
reduce time and
can that bonus, that floater, because that was happened immediately after the rally, can that floating momentum go into that spend, is my question.
Into which spend? Because
spending 2 to affect a trait and spending 2 to reduce time.
So then my question is, which of those spends would that last piece of momentum go into? Because you've got a floating momentum that you're trying to plug that into.
Yeah, so I would use it. Okay, so I did rally. I have the extra one. The extra one is immediately going into reduce time, and then the remainder goes into the scene. That's what we're doing.
Okay, so then that's all of it. Then that's all the momentum spent.
No. We had max, which, if I recall, is how much again, Caitlin?
6. So the thing is that we had 4 momentum at the time that he did rally. We got 3. So we were at 7. I wanted to know if that third one disappeared entirely because it wasn't like on a regular roll. It was for an ability. And because we took an action that was going to cost or did 2 trait things in a row that would have cost 4. Do we take 4 off of our total, or can we use that floater as part of the spend and only take 3 off of our total?
The bonus momentum is part of the spend. Otherwise, you lose it. So
that's why I was asking if we could, because it wasn't a regular roll. That's
how
all
it works. Yeah.
Okay,
if you're gonna do it. Otherwise you lose it anyway. So just
yes. I figured. I just didn't know if we would be able to put it into a falling action. Because
the long and short of it is that we now have 3 instead of
right. Yeah,
that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I got you.
And just for further clarification, just in the future stuff, anytime you gain a bonus momentum, Star Trek Adventures 2nd edition specifically states that if it's bonus momentum, it has to be spent immediately on the thing. It can never be banked.
Awesome. So, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
Yeah. Cool. So
with a different type of roll.
So what'd you get, Sam?
I hadn't had the opportunity to get advocate the attributes and
Go
so
ahead.
on that I'd be rolling, let alone the ship systems. It sounds to me like I'm running a presence con roll.
I would say that is a totally valid pitch to make. Yes, because you are coordinating the entire wing right now and the flight efforts. Yes, I would agree.
Yep. So I'll roll on presence con between my leadership and flight control and small craft stuff.
Okay.
I'm sure I have whatever focus I need. In terms of, you said the ship could assist me. Are you feeling... You're feeling an engines con for that? Oh, okay. So whatever it is, there's that.
Yeah. The good news though is I rolled a 2, so your ship is going to crit.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No. God, no. Not unless you were rolling security.
I have to roll a 1 to crit for your ship?
Oh, yes. Outside of Peregrines aren't good.
You're using.
That's why we're making this wing, because it's standard. They're not good.
Oh, I see. The con rating is the con rating is 1.
Yeah. No, they're bad. Okay, so anyway, that'll be 3 successes.
Okay.
Yeah,
3 successes. All right, cool. In which case, I'm going to say it's going to take the entirety of the scene, except for you spent to have that. So, with the coordination of the captain, Jaron, you basically coordinating with Cadence this wing of shuttlecraft being led by this Peregrine fighter manages to successfully tractor beam these beat up lifeboats as they are resting here planet side. You see these arcs of energy lance out from underneath the shuttlecraft and grab hold. It takes a few moments, and there's this question as to whether or not they're going to be able to pull the tonnage of these lifeboats away from the surface. But you watch as the expert flying, being led by Point on this Peregrine fighter, each of them pulls them up. You get confirmation that they have a stable lock, and they begin to fly.
That's it, Marceau. Nice. Lean into it. Just lean into the tractor.
You know that she is taking everything you say seriously because she is dead quiet on her end of the comm, listening to every word you say as you help guide this team out. Because even though all of them are pretty skilled at flying, this is one of those maneuvers they don't train you for. And the wing of shuttlecraft led by the Peregrine fighter, you guys are going to manage to escape using the multiple traits that you sank into in the scene to create the obscurity of the weather pattern. The population is getting mildly suspicious, but they're not going to see what you guys are doing. And that is going to escape. Y'all are going to eventually break atmosphere because of the trait spins that our captain did. Y'all are going to manage to get out and actually exit the upper atmosphere. There is some clapping on the bridge and some hushed cheers for a second as everyone kind of calms down for a second. And is like, yes! You hear that coming from some of the aux crew members who are watching the main view screen just in time to see as the view screen zooms in on the Peregrine Griffin 1 begin to lead the shuttle fleet out as these crew or these pods are being tractored up. Of course, you have expansive shuttle base, so it's going to be easy enough. Although you don't have to rescue the lifeboats if you don't want to. The goal was just to get them off planet. If you guys want to send them into the gas giant or get rid of them, you can. But right now, you've succeeded on removing 2 of them from the planet without violating the Prime Directive and out being spotted. And as you are nearing, just as you exit the atmosphere, I need you to make the USS Pride. I need the USS Pride to make a quick comms check. This would be comms and I'm going to say engineering.
What?
Whoever wants to roll for it.
Sounds like Hata can do that.
And yeah, Hata, if you want to do that. And
you said
then,
comms and engineering?
Actually, Hata, if you want, you can make a comms engineering check for the shuttlecraft.
Okay.
That actually would make more sense. I'm going to, instead of the Pride, I'm going to say the shuttlecraft. So comms engineering check, and I'll roll the assist on the shuttle. Comms is 5, engineering is 1, so I need a 6 or better.
Comms engineering. Wait.
I'm rolling for the shuttlecraft. So you're going to actually make a roll. Yeah. Sorry. So what you're going to do is you are probably going to make a control engineering check here.
All right.
Oh, I'll take con as well if you want to do that. Con is totally acceptable. But yeah, whichever you prefer.
It's the same, actually.
Right.
For me.
Go ahead.
Okay. Can I, since we're at the end, can I spend a momentum for an extra die?
Please do.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
I rolled a 3 for your ship. So again, a success.
Ooh. I have 2 successes.
Okay. 2 successes. And that third one, the difficulty was 3. So you're just going to hit it.
All right.
You're just going to hit it. You receive confirmation that the shuttles have broken the atmosphere and have been removed, the lifeboats. And there's some relief. Just as that is happening, you see the last of the civilians beaming up out of the circle that you guys have all made with the pattern buffers. And you hear Pavin say, "That's it. Nice job, everyone. We did it. We just got one more we have to deal with. Let's break these pattern buffers down and get set up. We got to go to the next site."
All right.
Where is that next site anyway?
Oh, yeah. Did we get data back from science officer?
No, the science officer wasn't able to uncover anything that you guys didn't already know because of the sensor interference at the site, unfortunately.
Okay.
All right.
Do we even know what
I'll get eyes on it right away. I stayed in my fighter, and that fighter, though it doesn't have the most impressive con score, does have the agile trait.
Woohoo.
So as my wing takes that first escape pods on out of there, I want to flip end to end.
Okay.
And give it a bit of a whoosh and try to get eyes on that canyon for our away team.
Okay, you flip and burn. As you head back down into the atmosphere, it's a spectacular light show as you burn up, turning into a fireball for a brief second, and then exiting out into the great blue sky. You can see that the sun is reaching that pivotal moment where it's starting to slip behind the horizon of the gas giant. And so it's creating this bizarre, almost doubled horizon sunset, partially from the rotation of the planet and partially from the gas giant itself. So it's almost like watching two horizons swallow the sun up in the sky. As you are swooping down and looking for this canyon, around the area where the sensor interference was, as you were banking around with the Peregrine, sensors begin to pick up a clearer triangulation of the crash site. So you begin to get, you already had a generalized area. If anybody was going to find it, it was going to be you, Cadence, because Commander, you've already been around it already. So as you swoop in a little bit lower, kind of chancing to get a good look at it, you spot what looks like a downed craft. It's easy to spot from where you are because as the light of the setting sun catches the reddened rocks, you can see the blackened scorch marks of this hard landing that this life pod made. It blackens the side of one of these cliff sides about maybe a kilometer below you. You see it kind of stretch out across. Then the next thing that catches your attention, there are a couple of figures down. You can see zooming in on your console to get a better glimpse at what you're looking at. You see zooming in on the sensors as it clears up the sight of an Orion dressed in what looks like pretty common like leathers, darks and brown leathers. He must be in his teenage years, and he is standing in front of somebody who looks like they are possibly unconscious, but they're slumped up against the side of this downed lifeboat. And the Orion is swinging something in front of him wildly because in front of him are four large beetle-looking like creatures wielding weapons that have surrounded the sides and are currently in front of him like he is waving them away and trying to keep them at a bay. Just from his body language alone, Commander, you can tell this kid is terrified and has no idea what he is looking at. But you also have to imagine in this moment of sudden fear, realizing these creatures are seeing for the very first time a being that they have never seen before. Oof. And what could happen next? Who's to say? And that is where we are stopping tonight's episode.
So much for the Prime Directive. Was the Orion stupid and yet sexy?
You'd have to get closer.
Not a teenager. In fact, no.
Could be a junior. A stupid.
Oh, were you talking about that? I thought you were talking about the guy who was unconscious.
No, or that too. Zazaret Jr.
Oops, all Zazarets. All right. Well, lots of problem solving, lots of jumping through hoops, lots of getting the job done. We finally got to see the wing of the USS Pride get some shit done tonight. And basically, let's just go ahead and say this. Having a wing of rescue vessels on your ship basically bailed you all out of a situation where it was kind of a little bit of a Kobayashi Maru there. Like, how the hell were you going to get these pods out of there? But you managed to pull it off. So make sure to note that in your logs. None of y'all called upon any of your values this time, and we are still going to keep playing with the aux points. But if you are on our Discord server, I am dropping in from time to time, letting everybody know and updating everybody how aux points are spent. But that's going to do it for us tonight, friends. We went a little bit long because we started a little bit late, but we managed to get most of this mission done. I thought we might be able to finish it tonight, but this is actually good pacing. I want to see how this unfolds. Next episode, I'm guessing, is going to be, well, next session I would think is going to be the final part of this first episode. So we look forward to seeing you all then. Thank you, Aux Crew, for everything. As always, thank you all for joining us tonight for another episode of the Last Excelsior. We will see you next Monday night. Until then, hailing frequencies are closed.